Hello and welcome to another episode of the Uncommon Energy Podcast. On this week's episode, we're going to talk about the post rotation trainer trials happening over on PTCG Live. Get yourself a head start on the post rotation format. We have a few new cards to look at. All of Ninja Spinner has been revealed over in Japan, so quite a few new cards for us to chat about, give our thoughts on, including one answer to Monkey Dory and perhaps a discussion around counter cards versus banning cards, yada, yada, yada. We will, of course, have Guess That Flavor Text, everyone's favorite segment of the podcast. And we're going to wrap up this week by talking about the results from the San Juan Special Championships, which took place this past weekend, and then also the Curitiba Regional Championships, which are taking place this coming weekend, both in the new Ascended Heroes format. We'll make some predictions, recap our predictions as well from last week, and see how we did. And then, of course, we will have our weekly bonus episode, a little bit of extra content exclusive to our YouTube channel members and Spotify subscribers. My name is Chip Ritchie, joined here as always by my friend and co-host, Azul GG. What's up, Azul? How we doing, buddy? How was your week? Did you see as well, by the way, someone commented and said, what was it, episode like 32, 36, something like that, was when I
Oh, yeah.
started saying my friend and co-host
Host.
Azul GG. That's when we became friends. Episode 32.
Episode 32 of the
Yeah.
Uncommon Energy Podcast. Yeah, I'm doing actually, honestly, not great. I am sick. It's not, like, too bad, and I think it was from Seattle. It's like a slow burn, or what did, dude, I had never heard this before, but, Curry was in my chat this weekend. He was like 'cause I said, like, when I watch partied the special event this weekend on Twitch, and he was like, "You still got some con crud from Seattle, con
How
crud."
have you never heard that before?
I've never heard that. I don't think I've ever heard that one before, but I thought that was a good one. So I think I do have a little bit of con crud. And to make sense, I got it immediately from Seattle because like I wasn't like I didn't stream immediately when I got back from Seattle because like man, I'm feeling a little bit off. I'll just give it one more day, and then all the way till Friday. And I was like, man, I'm still just not feeling great. I'm feeling fine. Whatever. I'll watch party. The special event did that. Was feeling like better, but then yesterday morning I was feeling pretty bad, and this morning I felt pretty bad too. But it's like one of those sicknesses where it's like I get better as the day goes on, but I just wasn't feeling great at all the last couple days. I'm feeling okay right now. Maybe I'll get back to streaming tomorrow, but it's fun to watch party. The special event, shout out to DMK Esports for hosting the stream, having the stream set up and everything. So shout out to the tournament organizers plus them for getting that all set up all together. It's always good to have these streams, even if it's not obviously the same quality as something like what TPCI puts on, but like it doesn't really matter. Having something is great, and that's what really all that at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. But I guess thankfully for me, the new Resident Evil game came out, and I haven't played any of the OG games, but I played the last three, including this one. So that's what I've been doing. I actually finished it today. That's what I've been doing the last couple days though, while I've been sick. Is just playing Resident Evil Requiem. So pretty good game. Definitely recommend it if you're a horror survival fan. It's not as horror as like horror games, of course, but it's still pretty good. And I might actually go back and play the OG ones because I know like Resident Evil 4 is I think like one of the best games of all time. That's what people say. I
They've
think that's the one.
re-released them so many ways. I think they literally
Yeah,
remastered the original one, right? I think that came out semi recently.
I think they did. Yeah, so I might go back and play the OG ones. I'm kind of a fan of the series in general. Like I've seen most of the movies, some of the animated stuff as well. So I enjoy the kind of that like genre for sure. But that was fun. Got to do that while I'm sick. But hopefully I get back to streaming tomorrow because I was pretty excited to get back into streaming when I got back from Seattle. Ascended Heroes format is going to be a short one, but I do like the change that it brings to an already fairly enjoyable format. It switches things up, but it doesn't like it's like not all of a sudden going to be like not all of a sudden like a bad format or anything like that. It's just kind of like switching up what was already a pretty good and enjoyable format to play. So was excited for that, but I don't know how much Ascended Heroes I'll actually be playing, depending on how long I'm still sick for. But what about you, Chip? How was your week since getting back from Seattle?
Yeah, been good. Really not too much going on. Just living life, hanging out with the kids and stuff and taking care of them and um trying to get out. It's been so nice outside the last, like, week or so. It's, like, finally feeling like springtime for sure, so we've been spending a lot of time going to the local parks and, like, playing in the backyard and stuff like that, which has been a lot of fun. Um, so, yeah, really nothing super crazy going on. I did watch some of your stream of the special championships in San Juan, so that was cool to see some competitive Pokemon action. And, other than that, though, yeah, I mean, I really yeah, it's been like I feel like usually I've had something going on that I can report on from my week, but really just been kind of a normal, boring, plain week. But we do have an exciting new segment, Azul, before we get
Yeah.
into our first topic. This is honestly something we probably should have been doing for like the last 4 years of the podcast is this
Yeah.
segment.
I do think
Oh,
we bring up some points sometimes
definitely.
in the next episode, but putting together as like a segment like this is good to like get it all whenever there's things to be held accountable for
So
and go
listen,
to.
Azul and I here on the podcast, we're doing it live, right? And sometimes
Yeah.
our like thoughts and statements come without full backing of knowledge of a situation or full backing of research behind what's happening. So we're going to start now what is called accountability corner. We're at the beginning of a week where we feel it's necessary. We'll just go back and recap some things that we talked about in a previous episode that are worth rehashing. Nothing like serious,
Yeah,
obviously,
nothing
because we would
crazy.
never get anything serious wrong, just all,
Oh.
silly stuff, right? Such as first one here, San Francisco. We talked about the world's
Why is Pikachu in
reveal of
space?
yeah, that why is Pikachu in space? Apparently, there is a NASA research center outside of San Francisco, so perhaps that is what they are leaning to there.
Yeah, that makes me wanna, like, go back and actually look at,
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up.
I want to go back and look at, like, the artwork from the first one and see if any of that I don't actually know where to go for that.
I hear world championships.
When was the
So
other San
this
Francisco Worlds? 2015?
2016, here you go.
Okay. Was anyone in space on that one?
Now,
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious, like, if they used that at
oh
all.
my
Was
gosh. There we go.
Enhance.
Is that the highest res image we have out here? Cerebi, come on now.
It's getting lost to time.
Honestly, yeah, they
Was
maybe
there
just
even a
weren't
World Championships in
I
2016?
don't know, they maybe would want you to forget that one. That was,
That was a big one. That was Wolfie's win, though. That actually is that's a big
it's
dub in
true.
history in
It's a good
Pokemon.
point. But
Um,
yeah, there's the space stuff and,
that makes more sense why they're all in space, because there's apparently a NASA research center. Maybe I'll have to visit it on my at some point. I'll have to probably visit the research center.
another point we were unsure of last week, but have the full information now in regards to Truin Tran and brother Makani Tran. Truin is the older brother. He's
Yeah.
2 years older, but they have the exact same birthday. So, like, what are the chances of that? The exact same birthday, but just 2 years older. And Makani commented on the podcast as well and told us that it was Truin's technical third regional championships. He'd only played in Las Vegas and then this one, and then he played in a Salt Lake City years previous as like
Yeah.
a one-time thing.
And apparently he was not at Toronto. I swear I saw Truman. They do look a lot alike, and I think you in backstage were questioning if they were twins at Seattle. You're like, "Are they twins?" And I thought when you mentioned that to me, I was like, "I think I had heard that somewhere that they were twins." I don't know, maybe that was
Yeah.
just like
Well,
a
I think
thing.
I thought they were twins because I had seen Makani's post of them celebrating their birthday
Oh, yeah.
together. It was like for our birthday. So I was like, okay, they're twins.
Yeah, that makes
But
sense,
they
yeah.
just have the same birthday 2 years apart.
Yeah, when I guess I must have saw Makani at Toronto. But I did like a double take and I was like, "Oh," but it looked like because true the one distinct difference between them is their haircut. They have a different haircut. So I did like a double take and I was like, "Oh no, that's Truan's haircut." But I guess maybe it wasn't. I was just seeing things. Or maybe there maybe is actually there may be just like another person out there who looks like them. There was someone who I thought was Makani with a like a buzzed haircut at the tournament. So I saw Makani made phase 2 and I was like checking out the top tables and I was like, "Is that Makani? That looks like Makani, but their hair is really short." I was like, "Maybe Makani got like a buzz cut." It wasn't like all the way short, but it was, like, pretty short, and I was like, they look kinda like Makani with a buzz cut, so maybe that is Makani because I knew Makani made Mayday too when I was walking around top tables at Seattle, so I don't know, maybe that was them who I saw at Toronto, but
Also,
many people look like
despite
Makani.
despite what I said in last week's episode, there are no reprints of Order Pad coming anytime soon. It is PokePad, not Order Pad. I may have said Order
That's an
Pad
I think
a
I said
couple
it
of
too, though, or maybe
times.
you said it first and then I just carried off on what you said.
I'm glad I'm getting it out of my system here, so when I'm casting a
Yeah,
regionals or something, I will hopefully call it the correct card. I know that was a big
order
issue
pads.
for Sable House whenever Choice belt came out
Yeah.
because Choice Band had been such a big card for years. Like he kept calling them the wrong. I mean, that one's tough because they do like the same thing
Yeah.
effectively as well, right? Like
That might have been the card I kept mm, I mean, it's less serious because I was just on my stream saying the wrong card, and people would correct me in my chat. I think it was maybe Choice Band or Choice or was there another card recently that had it was actually, like, the names were pretty different, but the effect was exactly the same. But what was the card
I don't know. That
recently?
happens all the time though.
Yeah, like, literally the names are, like, different. Not even as close as Choice Band, Choice Belt. I don't remember what it was, though, off the top of my head. Yeah. But, yeah, it comes up quite a bit. But, yeah, we are not getting Order Pad back. Order Pad probably would not be very good if we did get it reprinted, right? Like, what would you get? An Ultra Ball? Like, what are we our A spec, I
Then
guess? You could Order Pad and
yeah,
just
you
get your A
could a
spec?
secret box, bro.
Oh, more outs to your secret box, look out. Yeah, I can see it. That'd be like the only thing we could get would be with your A specs. Oh, honestly, with it finds your unfair stamp next format after rotation.
You played this card in Archie Stoice, right? When you got second
Yeah.
place?
Archie Stoice played it in Night March.
Flip a coin if heads, you literally get Archies. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah, it basically was because you could get computer search or like it almost always put it together. So you just played 4 of them and you got it like turn 1 almost every single time.
Yep.
Um, that's literally how I won. That was the dude, like thinking back on the Whale Lord turn against Alex Szymanski when he first he misplays, benches an extra Pokemon, and then I top deck order pad and hit heads. If I don't
Yep.
hit heads there, it just like all falls apart and I just lose anyways. But then I hit heads and then I draw 6 prize cards with the Whale Lord. So yeah, one of my favorite cards of all time for sure.
And then last thing to keep us accountable, Magic the Gathering does not have draft boosters anymore. That was something we talked about a little bit last week. The article I apparently clicked on was a little outdated. They have play boosters and collector boosters, and play boosters are able to be drafted. Collector boosters, I actually don't know if they're able to be drafted or not. I don't. I guess maybe you wouldn't draft them, but those are the ones that have the high rarity cards and stuff in them. I do think it would be really, really cool to have something like that in the Pokemon TCG. But I think
Yeah.
that our sets would need to be draftable, obviously, for that to exist, and they're definitely not in their current state.
Well, maybe
Um
that's what they would have to adjust. It would be like they'd have to make a little bit to make the cards a little bit better on average and a little bit more synergy for all the bulk bad cards, and then the draft boosters would, like, exclude all EXs and, like, a higher rate of, like, evolution line cards or something. I
mhm.
don't know, maybe that would be like, it would be the same pool of cards with some removed, um, and then you, like, somehow adjust the ratio of Pokemon stuff. But, like, that could be an adaptation of a set in a so, like, basically what Magic had was the booster drafts, but do that for the Pokemon TCG. 'Cause they definitely I mean, there's more than enough cards per set to do it in. There's so many bulk cards that something could be done with.
All right, let's keep it rolling into our first topic of the week, Azul, and that is going to be the new trainer trials, which are live over on the Pokemon trading card game live currently. Start evaluating what your decks will look like post rotation with the early rotation challenge that now allows only cards with the H, I, or J regulation mark. So, a little bit of a sneak peek into rotation. Obviously, not the exact post rotation format because perfect order is not legal. The biggest card there definitely being Meowth, not something we have access to. But honestly, other than Meowth,
Kinda it, right?
you
Like
kind of got everything.
yeah, because like, there's not I mean, the Okie Dokie deck with Barbaracle, I mean, that won't be there, but, like, yeah, you're obviously playing, like, 1 set short of what rotation is, and we talked about this a little bit before the podcast started. To me, this just seems like I think it's obviously, like I mean, it's, like, fine. It's, like, it's something I don't care about at all, and, like, to me, it's, like, just, like, unnecessary, but if they wanna do it, like, sure, why not? You know, tie it to the trainer trials, and there's a lot of people out there who will be playing in this, I'm sure.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah. But I don't think it's necessary. Like, if they didn't do this, it would also happen and now that I'm thinking it too, when we initially talked about this before the episode, I thought I hadn't heard of this, but I'm pretty sure I did know about this. And my reaction was probably the same, where it's just like, "Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, whatever." 'Cause I don't care. It doesn't feel like it's a necessary thing. I think it's a bigger deal for them to utilize trainer trials to give competitive players a platform to play with the competitive format when a new set drops. So, like, with Orlando coming up, PTCG Live's ranked ladder and everything is gonna have rotation and perfect order. I don't know what the trainer trials actually, you can trials rules and schedule. Could you check it? Is that gonna go
Yeah,
into
that's what I
effect on
was
the next
about to
one?
search. I think this is only up to, this one,
Hmm.
right?
Okay.
Because it's with this set.
Yeah.
They schedule it based on, like, the most recent expansion, so
Yeah. And it's not as
hopefully
big of a deal for Orlando where it would have been like for EYC. Like EYC is something where they should probably definitely make trainer trials the EYC format or something like that. For Orlando specifically when it's coming up, it's like a week removed, right? If I'm not mistaken for the dates, like the 27th, and then the weekend after rotation of the new set hits. So it'd be
yes.
like 5 days even, right? It wouldn't even be like a full week. Oh no, I guess it would be a full week. So there would be a full week's amount of time where it's like people are maybe still trying to prep for Orlando
I don't
pre-rotation
think that a
format,
trainer
but
trials period has been shorter than 2 weeks, so I don't think we'll
yeah,
get
that'd be a
one
little weird.
for Orlando for just a week, but it is possible. But yeah, I agree, that is a great use case for trainer trials, but I also think this is totally fine, right? I mean, dude,
Yeah,
like, how often
a
do you
lot.
get
There's a lot of
questions in
people.
your chat about
Oh,
post-rotation, the next rotation, the next I mean, maybe less now because you make such a big stink about it, but
dude. All right, that is. Listen, you live a week in my shoes of streaming, and then we can talk again.
I've
Um,
lived that life, brother, I know how it is.
um, What was I gonna say? And there's a lot of people actually already playing rotation, like, on the rank. You'll like every 3rd game, I feel like I hit a rotation deck on ladder, which
Exactly. So
is
this is a place for those people to go play that
yeah,
will let them play it because like, I'm sure if someone was wanting to play a rotation deck, they would rather be playing against someone else who's trying to play a rotation deck and not someone who's
yeah,
playing a full powder Gardevoir EX or Dragapult deck, right?
yeah. I am curious though. I will be curious, and this is like something I think people are just unaware of. I feel like this comes up so much where like the community at large just doesn't like have an understanding of like uh development side of things for like a video game or like business side of things. But like I know one thing that is true for like for video games, for like multiplayer video games, they don't want to create a bunch of ladders um, if there's not going to be enough population to populate the ladder,
Yeah.
right? So this will be interesting for sure because I bet there's still going to be some people who are going to be playing with a post rotation deck, but they want to still play the ranked ladder. Like they don't want to go play trainer trials, even though their deck is obviously nerfed. So I am curious. I would be curious to know how many people actually end up playing this. It might not be that many. There's going to definitely be some players who are still just trying to grind ranked, even if they're playing a post rotation deck. So that is one of those things with like people bringing up stuff like people have asked me questions about as well, like adding like ladder for this and a ladder for that. It's like, no, you don't want to like you need to
Yeah.
make sure that people can find games when they go to play the Pokemon TCG. You can't have like 100 different ladders to choose from, and each one has 10 people. Like there needs to be a purpose, and it needs to be a reasonable enough purpose. The community actually has to populate the ladder to a certain degree to make it worth them to continue to create ladders in this
Yeah.
way. So I'm
You
sure this will
definitely
be a
don't want
good
to split it too much for sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sure this will be a good trial run for them to like see the numbers, see how many people are actually going to utilize the trainer trials in this way.
Something interesting with this though, a card that we're assuming will be legal for us post rotation. A couple of them, Judge, Energy Search. I saw at least those two mentioned on Twitter this week. Are cards that were reprinted in Japan in the Start Deck 100s, but there's not been an updated regulation mark print for those cards for
Mm,
us just yet. And players are not able to add those cards to their decks in this trainer trials at the moment as well. So that is another big deal. And it begs the question, are these cards in our perfect order? Because if Judge is not in perfect order,
dude.
it's not going to be legal. Judge won't be legal for
Yeah.
our format because there is no updated regulation mark, right? Like we wouldn't ever
Yeah,
we
we
would go
wouldn't get
based on the
judged.
cards we have, right?
Yeah.
Since no updated judge regulation mark had been printed,
I
it
mean, they
wouldn't be
could
legal.
yeah, they could just like, there's nothing stopping them from just putting out a statement saying judge is play as if judge has a J regulation, even if there's no card with it. There's nothing stopping them from doing that. But yeah, you're right. We don't. I guess we don't have. We'll get the perfect order set list this weekend, right? Because pre-releases are happening, so we'll get the 100% confirmed. Because I don't think that's happened yet, right? We don't know for
No,
sure
yeah.
everything, so that'll be soon. We'll know soon. Um, But yeah, that's a really good point. Uh, if it's not in there, I don't even know. 'Cause yeah, we got it. They had it in the Star Trek 100s with updated regulations, which means like w- it means we'll get them at some point, I'm sure. But if we get it in like a later product, that's like dude, these situations like that's like the Psyduck situation, basically, right? Where Psyduck should have been legal for the World Championships, and it just wasn't. That format was supposed to have Psyduck in it. This format, post rotation immediately, is supposed to have Judge and Energy Surge, and it might just not we just might not have it, which is dude, I just like I don't even know what to call it. Like I don't even know there's not like a word that I can think of to describe like disappointing, but we've been there, we've said that. Like what is even the word to describe how I'm feeling, Chip? I need your help here. What what is the correct word to utilize here? I think frustrating is probably the
Yeah.
where I'm at personally. I think newer players maybe
Exhausting.
surprised. Well, yeah, exhausting. Newer players are probably like surprised or interested. It's like, oh, why would they? Wouldn't they do that? For me, they've been doing this so long for so many years. Like, yeah, it's just frustrating. I don't even know. I don't. Yeah, I don't even know. We'll see though.
Someone did make a prospective set list post over on Pokebeach on the Pokebeach forums.
Uh,
And people will do this like because sets
piece it
are
together.
put in a certain order, right? And some cards have been revealed with like numbers, and so we know where certain cards definitely are in the set list, and it's all like within types, and then like trainers, it's like alphabetical and all this stuff, right? So this person's prospective set list does include Judge.
You're
So
kind of vague. What about Energy Surge? Is Energy Surge in there?
Energy Search is also on their
Okay,
prospective
yeah,
set list, yeah, and
yeah,
including Pokeball and Pokemon Catcher, Potion, Crushing Hammer, other, like,
yeah.
previously printed cards that were reprinted. So, fingers
That's
crossed, it shouldn't be an
yeah.
issue, but worth
I mean, and
talking about maybe.
that's one of those things where it's like I would like to see them do a little bit more with this trainer trials and like allow Judge and allow Energy, but I guess that would leak like I guess they can't do it because that would like preemptively leak the set list. But like, is it really that big of a deal? I don't know, man. Like, it preemptively leaks the set list for cards we know we will eventually get, whether it be in perfect order or like a future like I don't like blister, I don't know, some kind of product, right? At some point, but like I don't know. Judge is like a pretty big card to like build around and test around in the format. So like kind of I guess hurts like it hurts the validity of this trainer trial, to be honest. Like that's just kind of like the judges the energy search is a little bit less important, I feel like. But the judge is like a pretty big card that people want to like try. And a lot of decks do play. Like you look at the results from Japan. I think a decent amount of decks are playing judge. It's not like a ridiculous it's not like Iono levels, obviously, but
Another way you could look at this trainer trial as well is it's like really trying to super cater to the really casual player, which is probably the
yeah,
largest majority of PTCG Live players, right? Where people
definitely,
who
yeah.
log on and play one or two decks, for a hour or two a day, and then that's it, right? And they are going to be, they don't look at Limitless. They don't watch regionals live streams. They don't know that these things even exist. They don't know there's results from Japan for them to base a new list on, right? So this
Yeah.
gives them a chance to ease into the transition of a rotation in theory.
It's like the what is the quote I'm looking for? What you don't know can't hurt you or something like that, like,
Yeah.
they can't even be mad Judge doesn't exist because they don't even know
Yeah.
that they should be playing
They're
with
gonna be
Judge.
surprised when Perfect Order
Yeah.
comes out.
"Oh, Judge is back, alright, let's get it."
So yeah, cool to see something happening there with I think I mean this on trainer trials is like competitive in mind, right? Like so that's cool to see at least.
Yeah.
But I will also say, we can't give PTCG Live all kinds of praise because I think PTCG Live has felt more broken for me the last like week and a half than it has like in the last 6 months. I don't know if that's
And
the case for you at all.
maybe it's a good thing I haven't been streaming because that's what I heard, that's what I saw on Twitter, like, people were saying they have to, like, restart their game every 2 or 3 games or something like that,
Yeah.
like, maybe it's a
It's
good
been
thing that
pretty
I got
bad.
sick.
I
Kinda
play
lined up.
I play like 90% on my phone, so I feel like sometimes those are things that can cause issues where but it's like, I don't know, I've been playing a lot the last few weeks, and, probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was having basically no problems. I could play, 10 games in a row and have no problem.
Yeah.
But then now it's like I've had more game-breaking bugs in the last 3 days than I've had in the last, like, 6 months combined for sure. So I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully that's something that gets sorted. Henry Chow even tweeted something like, "Can we please fix PTCG Live?"
Yeah, I think that's what the one of the tweets I saw was.
Yeah, PTCGL is borderline unplayable at the moment. Please fix.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and that's like I don't know, dude, that's like one of the most frustrating things as well when, like the maybe something I should record, during a session of streaming is just how many non-games does it feel like there are? Because it's like super like there was like moments early on in PTCG Live where I just like I'd be on streaming, and then after a little while, I'd be like, I'm just done. I can't. I like literally every other game, I'm disconnecting. My opponent's disconnecting. The game is bugging out. Like, there's still a pretty high number of non-games that happen due to those things, not just someone like dead draw. And then you add that on top. I dead drew, or my opponent dead drew,
or
and
you
then it's
get
just like
item locked out of the game.
yeah, you're just not even playing. Like you're just
Yeah.
playing zero Pokemon on the day between the bugs and the disconnects, the desyncing, whatever it is. Um, it's definitely gotten better, obviously, but it sounds like there was something up in the last update that is causing some problems for sure. Because yeah, I saw a decent amount of complaints. So honestly, it's a good time for me to get sick and just not stream. Seems like it worked out.
All right, well, we do have a few new cards to look at. The entirety of Ninja Spinner has been revealed. We've already talked about a good chunk of these cards, but there are some new ones we haven't talked about yet that we will take a moment to chat about, and a pretty big one that we'll get to at the end. We've got first off, though, a big one is turned in terms of hit points. 340 HP Mega Pyroar EX here. There it is, Mega Pyroar with Ferocious Bellow, 80 damage. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon's attacks do 50 less damage. And then Big Bang Fire, 290 damage. This attack does 10 less damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. I say it every time, but anytime I see this little symbol on the card, the minus, I already kind of write it off in the back of my mind, to be honest.
Yeah, you already know what it is. Yeah, and it does seem also like there's not that good of energy acceleration, right? Oh, I guess this has Oricorio. That's right. This works with Oricorio, right? Okay, so a new Oricorio partner. Maybe that's worth putting out there. Or another way to activate Oricorio, I guess, as well. This could be like a secondary attack or some kind of Oricorio firebox could exist through this. We do have the
Also,
camera up, but
I'm assuming this is the first time you're seeing Mega Pyroar.
it is, yeah. And honestly, to me, it just looks like a Pyroar because I don't really remember what Pyro looks like.
So this
Oh,
is
okay.
Pyroar,
Wait.
male and
Yeah,
female
yeah.
Pyroar.
There's the
And
mega.
this, oops,
There's a bigger main.
oh,
'Cause that looks like the mega card we just looked
here
at.
we go. This is Mega Pyroar.
Oh my dude, why do they make the megas look goofy? Like, what is that? Just absurd proportions in some way. Starmie's legs, the top of Pyroar's mane. Like, we could like, why is he goofy though? Like, why does he got to be goofy looking? Why
I
are they
did
always
see
looking goofy?
this is what people were hating on this one pretty heavily.
Okay, look at wait, go back. What is that in the bottom right there? Is that a mega
Bro, that's like
Pyro?
a fanfic right
Oh,
there.
well,
Or
that's
not fanfic.
better,
Well,
bro. That look
fan
at
art.
him.
Fan art. Fan
All right,
art.
swap him out, swap him out. He's got like the little fire things on his legs as well.
People were hating on this because it doesn't change that much, is like what they were saying. Like they just add another stack to his head pretty much. But there was this post I saw, right, where it's like this is the kanji for fire, this is the kanji for blaze. So
I'm
like
a
that's
hat.
what
Just
they're
it looks like a
give him
hat. He's got a big hat. Look at that.
and
Big
I
beard and
did
hat.
have a shiny Mega Pyroar on
Ooh.
my Legends ZA playthrough team. So
Shiny Power is pretty, but dude, I can't get over it. Actually, the more I think about it, it's a hat. He literally has a hat and a beard. See,
well, it's
like the
fire, bro.
no, but like where it goes, there's like the points out, but right under that it looks like the top of the hat, and then it's like the big hat on top. It's literally a hat.
So
I'm telling
rate
you.
Mega Pyroar 1 to 10.
I feel like just for megas, like there's like once they go into the goofy category, it's just, like, out the window. Like, it's in the goofy category for sure. Mega Pyroar, Starmie, a lot of them is into the goofy
No, dude,
category.
Starmie is sick.
Starmie is it but Starmie's like no, but
S
it is, like, it's so
Starmie is
goofy.
goofy. Starmie is super
It's
goofy for sure.
so good, but it's, like, it is funnier, I guess, in a goofy way, whereas, like, Pyroar is just, like, goofy, but it's, like, it's not even that funny. I kinda feel bad for Pyroar, to be honest, his big ass
Dude,
head,
Goofy one but
big hat.
goof especially when you take, like, a serious Pokemon, like, Starmie is, like, a pretty like, there's nothing goofy going on with regular Starmie, right?
Sure, sure.
And then you add the legs, and it's automatically
There's like yeah,
hilarious.
that's what I mean, like, that's what Starmie's kinda funny, but for Pyroar, you just kinda feel bad for Pyroar because it's
I get that. I feel that too, honestly.
like, Pyroar lost aura. Like, he mega'd up, and then he lost his aura, like, he's
But
auraless.
Starmie didn't lose aura.
No, Starmie gained aura,
Starmie
if
gained
anything.
aura for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
or
with you.
something, like
I'm with you for sure.
go ahead, go up, look at the Lilio real fast.
He's
Hold on.
chilling, bro.
Oh, he's chilling. I wasn't sure if he was, like, hanging on for his life or if he was chilling. He's definitely chilling.
No, this is actually a live action shot of the scene where the wildebeest are running by underneath Simba in The Lion King.
Then he's
Dude,
not chilling
please
then
tell
he's
me you've
not
seen The
chilling.
Lion
I
King.
have seen
Like,
The Lion King, that's literally my favorite movie growing up.
do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but he's not in that scene because he's chilling. Simba was not chilling in that scene.
That's true. He was struggling.
It does look like it's from The Lion King, though, that, like, the
This next one is a really, really interesting one, Azul. We've
yeah.
got Delibird, 90 HP, basic, water type Pokemon with the attack Happy Present. For one colorless, both players may attach up to 3 energy from their hand to their Pokemon in any way that they like. Your opponent attaches first.
So, yeah, it's, obviously, like, giving your opponent anything is, like, not good, but your deck's gonna be built around this card, so you should have just, like, neutrally the advantage, and, like, theoretically, your attackers are gonna be more energy intensive. I don't know, it's a pretty interesting attack. Like, we rarely see that's a lot of energy acceleration for a single energy. Usually, we see something where it's like, attach a single energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. It's like, well, then why did I attach to this thing to begin with? I could have just attached to my Pokemon for turn, and you go 1 for 1 for energy on the correct target. But this could put 3. Now, it is from hand, we lose Vessel. Like, obviously, the synergy between this and Vessel was like is there. So I don't know if we have the right tools to take advantage of this card on
Fire
release.
Breather.
Fire has so much energy acceleration already naturally. I sure you could play it without energy acceleration. Delibird plus Fire Breather. There we go. That would work. Yeah. So it's a good. I think it's a good attack. It's a good attack for sure. I don't know if we have the right pieces for it in this set or currently, but
Yeah,
something to
this
think
is
about in the
definitely a really
future.
unique one. Not sure, like, if this would certainly be in some sort of, like, fun deck to play on PTCG Live at a minimum, right? So
Yeah.
it's already, like, crossing that bar where it's, like, bulk card into, like, this is, like, something that people will play this card in something for fun at minimum. Will it have tournament level success? That's, like, the next step, and
Could get there.
I could see it. I could see it.
Yeah. Yeah, Mega Audino, like, I'm sure people are thinking about Mega Audino when they see a card like this, but Mega Audino is a 3 prize Pokemon in play, whereas this
Yeah.
is a Delibird, so that's your
Hey,
advantage there.
hey, you're right. Mega Audino, you're talking about the megas, right? And the way most people are using Mega Audino is to juice Mega Absol. Maybe this
Yeah.
is your new juice for Mega Absol. Just got to find a way to get all those darkness energy in your hand at the right time.
Delibird is the new juicer.
Worth noting as well, it does say 3 energy. It doesn't say basic
Ooh,
energy,
actually, I
so
didn't notice that.
that's a big difference there.
So you could use some of the new specials. I was gonna mention I didn't actually put this one down, but there's the Keldeo there, which, like, I think we had mentioned, or at least I had talked about the Ice Rider in a previous one. It literally has the exact same attack as the Ice Rider, 1 energy, 2020. So, I don't know, as far as, like, a setup Pokemon goes, like, some early game shenanigans, we have the Keldeo as an option alongside the Ice Rider. I think the Ice Rider's second attack is better, though. Remember.
Then there is the Ampharos here with synchronized pulse with for the ability. If you and your opponent have the exact same number of cards in your hand, this Pokemon's attacks do 80 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. And then for Lightning Colorless Flash Bolt 140, during your next turn, this Pokemon can't use Flash Bolt. Now, that doesn't seem super spectacular, Azul. I mean, can hit for what,
20,
220
right? Yeah.
for 2? I mean, that's not bad for a single prize Pokemon, but it is a stage 2, 2 attachments, yada yada. Where it gets a little interesting though is Flaffy and its attack disconnect 40 damage during your next turn. Your opponent can't play any item cards from their hand. We know how powerful that effect is in the game. Disconnect itself has been a good attack in the history of the game. And with Relicanth, you can use Disconnect with the Ampharos, and if you have the same number of cards in your hand as your opponent, you get that boost from Synchronized Pulse. So you could be item locking and dealing 120 damage. That is a lot of damage,
Yeah, we
as
got
teammates
electric.
would say.
And we have electric in the format as well. So we have energy acceleration. And I think like disruptive attacks, if we're going that route, I mean Electros, Mega Electros, EX, like that's a paralysis. Like imagine paralyzing them and then item locking them for the KO on the next turn. Or item locking them and then KOing them with the flash bolt or whatever. So I don't know. There could be something here for sure.
Setting
I
up
think
damage and then KOing multiple things with the Mega Electros as well, right?
yeah. So there could be something there between Ampros and Electric. I feel like and this is like what happens after every rotation because we lose cards, but I feel like the how item focused decks becomes less after rotation. Whereas it's like you're always playing roughly the same amount of supporters, and you just have to pick the best ones that are available. But you're still playing in that like 8 to 12 range of supporters, no matter what. But for items, you always have Pokemon search items, but you sometimes just won't have any other like no vessels. Decks aren't just gonna have random vessels in there, random items. So it might take a little while for the Ampharos deck to come around and be competitive, but I think it does have potential.
Next one up is we're skipping all the psychic stuff because we have seen most of that, skipping all the fighting stuff, and we've got this Crobat here, a stage 2 nighttime maneuvers. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you may use this ability, search your deck for a card, shuffle your deck, and then put that card on top of it. So not quite quick search Pidgeot at all, really, but stacking a card on top of the deck, not necessarily a bad effect. I will say this card is a lot worse because it does have one retreat. I think if this had free
Why is
retreat,
my free retreat?
yeah, Crobat almost always has free retreat as well. So that does feel a little odd. But I feel like if this thing had free retreat,
Maybe.
you could maybe see something happen with this. But
Smooth
as it
over
is,
on a
probably no.
stage. Yeah, even if it did have a retreat though. I mean, I feel like that would be the balancing because anyone who's unfamiliar with smooth over, we had what 2 Macargos that have had smooth over, which is this exact same ability. We had a
Yep.
couple other Pokemons that have had it as well, but I feel like that's the go to thing to call these kind of abilities, the smooth over abilities.
Yep.
Um, So, I mean, putting smooth over on a stage 2 feels a little criminal, and then like, the trade-off could have been that it has no, it's a stage 2 that has to be in the active. 'Cause, like, previous smooth overs, you could do it from the bench, from the Macargos and stuff like that. So, stage 2 has to be in the active to smooth over, and then it doesn't even have free retreat as a Crobat. Sure, we have Air Balloon, right? We can give it free retreat, but that's a lot more you have to work for, and you have to still be playing something that can synergize with the nighttime maneuvers, because all of our current hand disruption is shuffle. So it's not even like you can't even like prep to get Iono'd where you
Yeah.
like put it on top and then draw into it next turn off the Iono. Like we're getting shuffle
Well,
drawed. So
unless you get Harlequinned.
oh, is that oh yeah, that's right. Harlequin, yeah. I was just thinking Judge Unfair Stamp. Yeah, right. Harlequin does act like Iono did, so
So this is
fair.
this it, Jake Gearhart? Does this card being in format make Judge the optimal disruption supporter?
Time will tell. We'll find out. Maybe Jake has already put out a take on that.
Well, there is, to be fair, also in this set, item-based disruption card, which we'll talk about. So,
True. Yeah, Crobat kind of sucks to be honest.
all right,
We
keep
we
it
don't have all the other
rolling.
good Crobats rotated, right? Because we were actually accumulating quite a few decent Crobats at one
No,
point.
well, I mean, there's that one that like lets you draw cards if you play Janine from your hand. That's kind of a cool card.
Okay, we still have that one? Alright.
Yeah,
Oh, that I mean, that would work really well with this one, to be honest, because you could set up combos. You could also set up your next Janine for the next turn. It also hit pretty hard too, right? Like, I'm trying
the
to
other ones
remember.
all rotate. It doesn't hit
Mhm.
that hard, but it's okay. So we've got this one. This is a pretty cool card, right? Shadow Envoy. Once during your turn, if you play Janine's Secret
Yeah.
Art from your hand this turn, you may draw cards until you have 8 in your hand. And then Poison Fang 120 for 2. Your opponent's active is now poison. Put 2 instead of 1.
And then we still have, like, the Poison Stadium and everything. But we
And
don't
this
have, like,
thing,
the
for 1 energy, 80, opponent's active is now confused and poisoned.
um, okay.
Guaranteed confusion is pretty annoying to deal with for some decks, right? Depending on
Yeah.
metas and stuff like that. So that's fair as well. I don't know. Not I think this is like not quite in the same tier. I think Delibird is better than this card at the moment, right?
Yeah, probably for you need, like, another Crobat, I feel like, or something that really wants smooth over, but, like, it already naturally has, like, some way to
A
synergize
stage
with
2
it.
or something.
Yeah,
Something that already has rare candy in its deck.
something like that, yeah.
We've got a Metagross here with the attack bounce back, 60 damage. Your opponent switches their active with one of their bench for just one metal. And then for 3 metal and a colorless, 150 plus, you may discard 3 metal energy from this Pokemon. If you do, this attack does 150 more damage. So 300 damage on a single prize Pokemon. That is a ton of energy, Azul. But let's not forget
Our
about the
friend.
regional champion, Matang with Metal Maker, still in format after the rotation.
Yeah,
What do
kind
you
of
think
like
Andrew Hedrick's thoughts are on the Metagross?
I think he was more concerned with the Dialga that he had access to than the Matang he had access to be honest. But there could be something here. I guess, like, honestly, the one thing that I kind of forgot that we lose for a deck like this is we don't have Super Rod. We have Lana's Aid
Well,
and
energy
Recycler?
recycler.
Yeah, but we like, Super Rod gets Pokemon and energy. This is like we have to, like, Recycler for our energy, and then I don't know. That's, like, actually, like, one thing that is, like, a big nerf to these, like, heavy one price decks is the lack of something like Super Rod. Actually, Sacred Ash Recycler? Two Sacred Ash, 2 Recycler? Is that where we're going with this?
And there we
See, that's
are.
just,
You've
like, so
you've solved it.
gross. That's so gross sounding. And then we're getting item locked by Ampharos anyway, so we can't even
Bro, you're predicting the GLC meta right there.
True. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like it really wants a Super Rod.
I'm not reading this, but you see that Ferrothorn there?
The Ferrothorn, yeah, the
Yeah.
Ferrothorn right there.
A lot of people didn't like that its name is Ferrothorn, but that's its name. It is Ferrothorn. I know Ferrothorn is like how most people say it, but it's
Ferrothorn.
Ferrothorn. I'm sorry to ruin your day. All right, we've got the first ever Mega Dragalge. I assume Azul's first time also seeing Mega Dragalge.
I think I saw this one previously at some point. Oh yeah, I think we talked about this one. We talked about this one on the cast at some point. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, I don't remember if it was a bonus episode or not, but
Oh, yeah, I feel like I do remember pulling up this picture now.
yeah, dude, they're just all so goofy looking, man.
Yeah. They're reading the Pokedex entry. It spits a liquid that causes the regenerative power of its cells to run wild. The liquid is a deadly poison to everything other than itself.
I mean, I don't know the definition of cancer, but I guess it could cause cancer.
All right. Corrosive
Mega Dragalge L.
liquid for 2 colorless. Discard all Pokemon tools and special energy from all of your opponent's Pokemon. Well, talk about a
That's
terrible attack
yeah.
on a 330 HP mega. Like, what
But
is
two colorless energy, you can put it in any deck. You could add it to any tech card for your
dude?
Lugia matchup.
What a terrible attack.
It's so
That attack
bad.
could be for 1 colorless on a basic Pokemon. That would probably be pretty good, I guess.
I think we had that with a
It would
Rotom,
be
right?
it would be
Isn't
played
there
sometimes, probably.
is there not a Rotom that did that?
I don't think it discards special energy.
Just tool cards? I swear there's something that discard a lot of special energy. Maybe
Dude,
it's only
if
off the
there's something
active.
like that in the format, you can
Or maybe
honestly
just the
cook
active.
some Dragapults right now, to be honest.
We just play an enhanced hammer. You're thinking too hard.
You're getting Badooed, bro. You wanna play
Well,
it before they're gonna attack you.
see, oh, that's where Mega Dragalge gets involved. It's the
No, that's where you
ultimate.
play Giacomo. I don't see a
Meowth,
Rotom that oh,
Meowth
there
for your
is
Giacomo.
it's only active, this guy.
Okay, it was just the active.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
maybe
then
not as
the,
good.
second attack here for Mega Dragalge, Water and Dark.
That's an energy cost right there.
Yep, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. During Pokemon checkup, place 16 damage counters on that Pokemon instead of 1.
A lot.
Is there any sort of, like oh, dude, this you know what this wants really bad?
Mm.
Is that, old retreat lock Dragalge, like, if something was poisoned, it couldn't retreat.
Well, speaking of that, we are getting that in not in supporter form.
As a supporter?
Yeah,
Which one?
one's one of them. Emma,
During your opponent's next turn, their poison Pokemon can't retreat. Well, this card is terrible.
what do you mean? It does what your Dragalge does.
Yeah, but it's your supporter.
Yeah.
How this card is terrible.
Yeah, that Dragalge actually was played. That
Well,
Jason played that in his regional winning Toad deck. He played that in Toad
mm,
Shaman, a 1/1 Dragalge.
I think Grant played
Go
it
back.
too in his Toad Viper deck, I wanna say.
That deck was terrible though, so we don't even Poison Barb? Excuse me? But
We've
yeah, the
got
Dragalge,
oh, go ahead.
I mean, the second attack's not terrible, right? Like, it's fine. Like,
You set up to 2-hit KO everything in the format that doesn't
yeah. Well,
evolve
it's an
out of
effect.
poison.
Yeah, it's an effective one hit, right? If they don't retreat, like,
Sure.
I don't know. Like, maybe it can be. Maybe you can find a way to be annoying enough that it works. The Roxy, like you said, the Roxy's supporter card. I don't know if that's it, but you need a little bit more
You
than that.
probably have to play, like, one of that card, right?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a pretty. If you can get the combo fully there, it seems pretty powerful for sure. But you have to Meowth to go get it. There's nothing stopping them from just bossing your Meowth for 2 prize cards that turn, I guess.
True. Alright, we've got Goodra here with the Slimy Slip. There we go. When your opponent's active Pokemon retreats, your opponent flips a coin. If tails, that Pokemon does not retreat, and your opponent does not discard any energy for retreating.
Or you could play this Goodra with that slimy slip.
This ability's effect can't stack.
That yeah, that is probably for the best because actually some kind of like stall deck would exist if you could like set up 4 of these things
Yeah.
and just be doing them while you're hitting with that slimy slip. Like it's a good thing it does not stack. But I could still see that's still a 50-50. I could see a stall deck coming out of Goodra for sure. Like, I don't know why not, you know? Like if I bring up your Noctowl, you have to commit an energy to it while I'm bedewing you to hard to treat it. Like that's still pretty obnoxious if you hit tails.
And then I think the card from these reveals that was talked about the most, which if you just look at the picture of the card and can't read Japanese, you'd be like, why?
It has an ability.
70 HP Patrat does 10 damage, but its attack is Watchful Eyes. If this Pokemon is in play, you and your opponent can't move damage counters to another Pokemon. AKA
Dory.
no Monkey Dory for you or for me.
Yeah, for anyone. I actually saw a discussion that I thought was interesting. I think I saw Alberto and Drew
Mhm.
comment on this. And if I remember correctly, Alberto's take was just like, why not just ban Monkey Dory? And then I think Drew's response to that was like, I kind of like the idea of them just printing counters as opposed to just banning things because it makes things more interesting. Um, Although I think there could be an argument that if a thing is too good too aggressively, then you should ban things. But like, I don't know, the game has still been pretty good with Monkey Dory in it, right? So it's like, um, but I do like I think I agree with Drew's point. I never really thought about it that hard, but then I saw the different takes here. And I kind of agree with Drew. I kind of like, yeah, just like throw a counter card at it. Like, why ban it when you can just throw a counter card at it? And then like now the players get to decide, right? It lets the community and the players decide how they want to play the game. And it doesn't kind of force something on it. And it doesn't feel like there have been cards in the past where I think they should have been banned. Like ADP Equalization came out, broke something. I don't think broken in for Broken Lugia, you didn't have to ban Archeops or Lugia. You just need to ban something. It just had too many options. I don't know what the best ban was, but like I think it's pretty rare where something actually needs to be banned in the Pokemon TCG. And I even saw that take from a similar take within the same discussion of this from Ian Robb, where people are in Riftbound are talking about banning cards. And I think Ian's take was you shouldn't have banned anything. They shouldn't. The game's only been out. It's barely been out. Just like let players play the game, kind of. I think, and Ian plays a lot of card games in general. I think he's been getting into Riftbound. Obviously, he's been pretty successful in Pokemon and in Magic. It might have been like a reply on his Twitter.
Yeah, I'll find it.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, someone tweeted, just so Riftbound players know, if you start banning cards now, you will set the precedent forever. One of the things I hate in MTG right now is the community assumption and conversation is always about banning the best deck, regardless of need, because of previous precedent. Which is definitely, I mean, as long as you played the game Azul, I think you can agree with this. One constant in all areas of the game is there will always be a vocal group, sometimes a majority, sometimes a minority, that hates whatever the best deck is and like
yeah,
thinks that it's like that whatever the best deck is ruining the game for like in every format ever.
yeah, definitely. There's definitely like a hater for all the, but I think there's some validity to it. Like there's like there's some understanding to it. Like people getting a little bored of Guardian Dragapult. I can understand that. Um, but yeah, there is always gonna be like a vocal minority who are always gonna be hating the whatever the best deck is. And like I said, even in the past, I've had some moments where I've been like, yeah, I think these because in my opinion, and I like have played through so much of the Pokemon TCG, like the thing that I've actually come to, and I think this is where a lot of people's takes come from, is just like, is the game fun? Am I enjoying playing the game? And a lot of it does come from them not enjoying the game. Some of it I think is like you should at some point I think some people need to question their actually do they actually enjoy the Pokemon TCG? I think that needs to be asked sometimes. Maybe they just don't enjoy the game. It's not the game that they used to play or the game that when they started playing. Um I like even I have my moments where I'm like I said, with ADPization, with Broken Lugia, I think I like even reflecting on that, I still think something should have been done about those situations. But I do kind of agree with Ian's take here. You know, bans are overrated. Riftbound is such a new game that it doesn't make sense to do bans until the game has been around for a year or at least. So it is kind of interesting to see how the Pokemon TCG handles that compared to the other games because all the other games have really aggressive ban lists. I think it's a little bit different for stuff like Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh, though, I will say, because their card pools are so big for things that they ban for. I don't know how often a card is banned in Magic for the standard format. I guess that'd be something I'm not sure about. But the other formats in Magic, like Modern, is basically are expanded. And then Yu-Gi-Oh plays with a continuous card pool. They play with every card ever, except for the ban list, obviously. So it's a little bit harder to test everything when your card pool is that much bigger. But like for Riftbound, like Riftbound's super new, unless the developers are messing up that bad. And I kind of like going back to Drew's take, just let the players figure it out. Unless it's
There are
really,
current
really that bad, let the players figure it out.
there are currently 11 cards banned in the Magic standard format.
Okay. So it's not
And one of
too
the
bad
cards
then.
is this is funny. One card is only banned in MTG Arena Best of 1.
What? Is it like that good when you go first or second blind or something? Like
You're not asking the right person, but who knows?
that is bizarre. That is a weird dude. It's literally like playing Sarah Ledge on PTC's live ladder right now, bro. You just get to go first every single game. It's so
Yeah.
nice. It's like it must be a card like that. Go second format. And you play best of one you played, go first, and you just win the game.
So I think Patrat is obviously like, it does what I think they're wanting it to do. It's giving it to the players, right? You can choose if you want your deck
Mhm.
to be able to have an answer for Monkey Dory in the current format. I will say, like,
You
it would have been
decide.
it would have been really interesting to see what would have happened if this card had been released 6 months ago.
Pre-rotation. Yeah. Or even 3 months ago. Just like before rotation. Because I feel like when rotation hits, Monkey Dory's value goes down. Well, I say that
It,
now, but
it's still a
it's a
good
pretty good
card.
card. Yeah, it's a pretty good card. We'll see what the future holds for Monkey Dory.
Yeah.
I did want you to click on the Watchog's art real fast.
Oh gosh.
Because this Watchog is definitely asking to see the manager, like 100%. This is
That's just Watchog in
the arms
general.
crossed.
He stays crossed.
Yeah, Watchog is not having it.
Hey, you could always play the 1/1 Watchog, if you're playing Patrat, just throw this guy in there, right?
I mean, the attack actually isn't terrible.
Flip 3 coins. If any are heads, look at your opponent's hand and choose as many cards as the number of heads. Your opponent shuffles those cards into their deck. It is pretty terrible.
Unfair, unfair Watchog. You're cooked, buddy. You're
You
done.
do get to choose, so that is
Uh,
nice.
yeah. Oh wait, I didn't even realize it did that. We don't even have to
Yeah.
unfair state. I'm gonna hit him with a Judge Hog.
Oh my gosh, I do not want to hear anything about your hog.
The Judge Hog. What is the name of the attack? Unannounced. What?
Unannounced check.
Dude, Watchog is not asking permission. He's looking at that hand. He's checking it out. Oh my gosh.
We got one more Pokemon to look at, which is Chinchino EX with the ability Smooth Coat. If any damage is done to this Pokemon by attacks, flip a coin. If heads, prevent that damage. And then the Energized Slap for just one colorless deals 40 times. This attack does 40 damage for each heads. Or wow, for each energy attached to this Pokemon, for each heads. Where I'm just still thinking about Watchog, I guess.
You're on that hog watch anyway. The Chinchino here. I actually don't think this is terrible. I just don't know what you'd play it with to like get the energy. Maybe like Chinchino Matang or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that for the Chinchino. Because, like, the ability is really good. 'Cause it's not even, like, around whether you have damage or you would get KO'd, it's just, like, whenever you take damage, you could just not take damage.
I mean, dude, we've seen
So,
this card. Like, this is literally Whimsicott GX, right? It's like the exact same
yeah,
card.
and Whimsicott wasn't terrible. It was a
I
little memey,
mean,
but a little memey.
we didn't have tournaments really during that time frame, so it's hard to say, right?
That is true, that is true.
I lost to Whimsicott in the finals of a League Cup once.
There we go, it's legit. Hey, which one the one that
Yep,
that one?
Whimsicott GX.
Sheesh, man. You didn't have to no one needs to know that. You didn't have to self-report like that shit. It
We've
was really simple.
we've talked about this before
Oh, have we?
on the podcast. Yeah. So I was playing the ADP Keldeo GX stack, right? So I was like, I just win. I should destroy this guy, right? Because they can't touch Keldeo. Problem is that he played a 2-2.
Dude, if this is a watchhog, I'm gonna
No. Oh my gosh. He played a 2-2 Yen Mega, which one shots Keldeo.
Which
So
I have to
Whimsicott
imagine that was
would
the
one
tech, right?
sh
They were teching.
yes, it was attack, yeah. So Whimsicott one shots ADP, Yen Mega one shots Keldeo. Really, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I tried to KO all the Porygons, dude, but it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It was a funny
Does
one
Keldeo
though.
even one-hit KO the yeah, Mega? I forget what Keldeo did.
Dude,
100?
I have huh? Keldeo does like 110, so it does not even KO it. It KOs it after you use Alter
ADP.
Creation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But that means you have to, like, literally put ADP in your active, use Alter Creation,
Yep.
and then somehow still set up a Keldeo after you probably got KO'd by Whimsicott
Yep.
stuff.
Yep, exactly, and that's the experience I had. Dude, I have lost to some trolley decks in finals of cups. I also lost we've talked I think this literal conversation has happened on an episode before, where we talked about this deck into I also lost to a Slowpoke Psyduck in a finals of a cup.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That deck was pretty sick, though. That deck
It
wasn't even that
was,
bad.
and I was playing Green Zard, so that matchup that is probably that Slowpoke
Yeah.
Psyduck's one good matchup is probably Green Zard.
Yep, yeah.
I almost won the game too because he let me reset stamp him to 1. And he drew Misty's Favor off the reset stamp to 1 to one
Mm,
hit KO me. It was brutal.
farmed.
Special red card. So this one, maybe besides the Watchdog, this is probably the other card that had the most people talking, as it is a new form of disruption. You can only play this card if your opponent has 3 or less prize cards remaining. Your opponent shuffles their hand and puts it on the bottom of their deck. Then your opponent draws 3 cards.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good indication of, like, this is gonna be our hand disruption card moving forward. I doubt we're gonna get anything anytime soon. And like I was saying, if we take, like, a format or 2 formats off from an Iono or a heavy hand disruption based card like this, fine. And we are only taking 1 format off, right? Like, perfect order, and then into this, literally the format after, so is this as good as Iono? No. It is an item card, and I think I've talked about Reset Stamp a decent amount, where it's like Reset Stamp in a lot of formats would be, like, just broken. This isn't quite as powerful as Reset Stamp. The fact that you can
Mhm.
only it's hard caps at 3 cards means it's a lot more aggressive,
You also can't play
but
it early if someone amasses like a large
yeah,
hand, right?
you can't just, like, throw it at them early game. So, I don't know. We'll see how good this card ends up being. I actually don't have that strong of an opinion. The only thing that could be really toxic with this card is Dustnor.
Yep.
This card with Dustnor is not good. There is Psyduck in the format. Like, those 2 cards should not be printed in the same format without Psyduck, but we do have Psyduck, so it might be fine, but I would recommend going and getting your Psyduck if you don't already have a Psyduck because, yeah, this card is kinda broken with Dustnor, that's for sure.
Yeah, this one is that was one of my first thoughts as well was this can definitely be abused by Dusknoir. I mean, like if you go Badoo into Pop Nor Nor,
Yeah.
if they KO the Badoo, like or Dusk Clops, even Clops, put them to 3, Phantom Dive. That's a pretty good board state, right?
You can still do that, like like, and it could still end up being pretty toxic, like, a Dustnor deck just goes second. We saw, like, that Jellicent Dustnor deck that Daichi and Rahul played at the Champions League, right?
Yep.
Just go
Yep.
second, Frillish item lock, you can't find your Psyduck, okay, pop a couple Nors, hit you with a special red card, game over, right? Like, that's pretty annoying. Also, it combos with Watchog, So look out for that. Look at the watchdog combos there.
Gotta keep out watch on the hog. We've got Book of Transformation. This is a pretty interesting one. You must play 2 at once. Choose a basic Pokemon in your discard pile and switch it with one of your basic Pokemon in play.
Yeah, so we've had the 2 at once cards before. What was the last one we had? Custom Catcher, right? Was the last 2 at 1?
The
2 for
last
1?
good one. There's probably been something since then. There was
Catcher was
no, there was
there?
Cross Switcher and Cross Receiver, Cross
Oh,
Seaver.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But there's been
Crossy.
something else since then I wanna say, but maybe not.
Yeah, this has been
Um,
so bad. Yeah, besides Cross Switcher.
I will say, like, just initially, like, I think this effect is obviously really cool. I mean, Thornton was a card that got played every
Yep.
once in a while. This is an item card, but you do have to play 2 of them, so there's I don't know how strong it'll necessarily be. It'll probably be good in a deck that can search it, like some sort of Noctowl deck, right, where you could just get
Yeah.
both of them or one of them if you already have one. Um, it does feel bad to commit 4 deck spots to this thing, and if
Might be
you
like a
only
3
play
of
2, yeah, but it feels weird to commit 3 to this thing that you're guaranteed to not use 1. I don't know. I think I've said this before with these type of cards, like, even if it's not a good effect, I think just giving them like a "if you play 1, do this" effect would have
Oh,
been,
yeah.
I would like to see that, right?
Even just draw a card, right? Like, because like, rarely is it good in Pokemon to play less than 60 cards, so even if it just a 1 of said just draw a card or something like that, that
Or
wouldn't
even
be
just
terrible.
like, you know,
I think that'd be like a
even if
good
it was
secondary
something like
effect.
Puzzle of Time, look at the top 3 cards of your deck,
Yeah,
just look
sure.
at them.
Some kind of because 'cause you're sacrificing consistency by playing these cards, because like, it's like, it's a high cost to actually activate it, so having the trade-off be some form of consistency. We saw that with Custom Catcher, right? Custom Catcher was draw up to 3, Puzzle of Time was look at the top 3. Having this just say literally just draw a card, like, play it, draw a card, letting you cycle it would be probably not terrible. I do agree with that. It is like a pretty awkward looking card. Noctowl decks, like you mentioned, seems pretty good, but if yeah, I can't, like, think of anything off the top of my head where it would be, like, super powerful right now.
We've got the Roxy, which we did already read, basically gonna be played in that Dragalge deck, if at all. And then there's Emma here. Your opponent reveals their hand. Draw cards equal to the number of Pokemon in their hand.
Card
Yeah,
is pretty terrible.
not a great one.
It's an anti what is that? Was the Doublade coming out? It's literally an anti-Doublade card or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah, where you have to
Age
reveal the
yeah.
number of the line in your hand or whatever, yeah.
Like, you may be 1 hit KO'd my Mega, but I'm gonna draw 10 cards with Emma.
And then one more new special energy. We've got Nitro Fire Energy. It provides 1 fire, and then if it oh, man, coulda hit the
Oh,
mute
did I not
button.
mute? I clicked it. I literally clicked the mute button hard enough. I literally reached over.
Oh my gosh. Dude, that
You
moment
didn't hear it again,
reminds
did
me.
you? Just
Uh-huh.
once? It
No,
didn't come
no.
through. Okay, okay.
Dude, that reminds me of I one time recorded, do you remember Kirk Dubé's old podcast, the Super Rodcast? I was
Yeah.
a guest on that show one time back in, like, 2018, 2019, something like that, and we were doing our whole episode, and then randomly in the middle of the episode, I had to cough really bad, so I muted my mic. I just, like, absolutely hacked a lung, and I Kirk just goes, "Jeez, man, get it together." And it made me realize I had recorded the entire episode using my webcam's microphone.
Oh my gosh. Unlucky.
It was just, like, what had picked up whenever we entered whatever Skype or whatever call we were using at the time.
Jeez, man, get it together.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. One
And
last thing I
then,
was gonna mention about the, I guess I could see it being good in Terra Box. I could see it working in Terra Box, to be honest, because like, you have your Ogerpon on the bench with the grass energy, celebrate another grass, turn it to something cool with the, your owls find it, like you said. So that may be the one deck on release where it works.
here's the Nitro Fire Energy. It's a fire energy, but if an attack is used by the fire Pokemon it's attached to, would be discarded. Put it into your hand after applying damage and effects of that attack.
A pretty mediocre card. Like it's like a very slight upgrade potentially to include in fire decks. But it's like nothing. Honestly, the special energy in general are well. I guess the metal one's pretty good, right? The free retreat that's not bad. Um,
Yeah,
like
the
water
metal
energies,
one is pretty
whatever. The
good. The
fire
water
energies,
energy, whatever,
whatever.
yeah. This would have been imagine if it had been this one, though. Burning Energy. You remember this card?
Yeah, that would've been a lot better for sure.
This one, whenever you discard it from the effect of an attack, you just immediately reattach it.
Yeah,
This one, it goes to your hand.
just just way less good. Like, it doesn't
Yeah,
even even when it gets KO'd, it doesn't go back to your hand. If it did that, there would be, like it would be, like, better. If, like, it was from an attack or if the Pokemon got KO'd.
sure.
Like, if this card would be put in your discard pile,
Like a
put it to your
recycle
hand.
energy effect.
Yeah, kinda more like recycle. But, yeah, it's only recycled off the attack, which is, like it's just not that impactful. I don't know, it's just not very good.
If you could use it to retreat or something.
Yeah. Yeah, even that, like, even if you go retreat and put it back around, it'd be like because like, this is, like, such a it's like such a minimal upgrade to include in a deck, like, it's just not very high impact, right? Like, we said like, yeah. I mean, none of the special energy that they've released besides the metal energy is pretty good, actually. Free retreat's always good, so, yeah, they're all pretty weak.
All right, Azul. Well, that's all the new cards. Ninja Spinner coming out soon in Japan, but we get Perfect Order in like a week and a half, so that's cool. 2 weeks. Sorry, 2 weeks. Yep, we're
Yeah,
we're a little behind.
it's coming up pretty quickly, though. We're getting there.
And now it is time, Azul, for Guess That Flavor Text, where each week you or I will pick a card, read the flavor text from it, and have the other host try to guess which Pokemon is featured on that card. For each, if you guess the Pokemon correctly, you get 4 points. And then we do have 3 different lifelines you can use. For each lifeline you use, you do lose one of those potential points. The lifelines are what set the card is from, what stage the card is, and read an attack name. Azul is currently leading 43-40. We don't gotta talk about why.
Yeah, that was a pretty big miss from you there, Chip, I'm not gonna lie. That was a easy well, maybe I should give myself a little bit credit there. Maybe it wasn't that bad of a pick from you.
I will never pick a card from the newest set ever again.
It's the only, like, time I'll ever be able to, like, recall
Like, if I
in
had
that
picked that
way.
card in 3 months, I would have been fine, you know?
Maybe. Hold on, come on, give me a little credit here.
No.
Alright,
Okay,
Chip,
maybe.
are you ready for this week's flavor text?
It is my turn, so yeah, Azul, you've got a card picked out for me. I am ready.
It is a shabby and ugly Pokemon. However, it is very hardy and can survive on little water.
A shabby and what? Say it again?
It is a shabby and ugly Pokemon. However, it is very
Ugly.
hardy. It's very I know they're just coming at him. Is very hardy and can survive on little water.
A shabby and ugly Pokemon. Survive on little water. I mean, it kinda makes me think of, like, some sort of desert Pokemon, maybe? Shabby and ugly. Holy cow, man. They just don't like this guy. That's so brutal. What?
They're really coming at him with this one. I
I
don't know.
know,
It's true.
dude. I would expect this to be like a nameplate under a picture of you. Oh!
Oh, it is kind of funny because like these are the flavor text are all like Pokedex entries, right?
Mhm.
So there was just some Pokemon researcher out there being like,
This thing sucks.
yeah, bro, like
Ew, what is that? Ew.
some scholar, some professor in the Pokemon
Wait, is
world
this Strudel?
was just going at my man's like,
Is it Strudel? Low key? That thing is pretty disgusting. He's got a little fat little body. He doesn't need that much water. I can see it being Strudel.
now I'm just thinking about like the professor going back to his other professors, and they're all like talking about the Pokemon that they've like looked at and like they've studied in their own environment, and it's like, look at this ugly.
Dude, this thing is
This
gross.
thing is hideous.
Look at this
Oh.
monstrosity I've discovered. I hate to unveil it to the world. Oh man. Okay, okay. Let me hear the full thing again. I'm gonna probably use some lifelines here. If I didn't use any lifelines, I could just get a quick little 4 points, but I don't think that's happening.
It is a shabby and ugly Pokemon. However, it is very hardy and can survive on little water.
Very hardy. So Shroodle's not that hardy, I guess. What is a hardy Pokemon? I mean, I think like a Machop or something like that, but that's not very ugly. Or like all right, let me go with what set the card is from. No 4 points for me.
Supreme Victors.
Ooh. All right, a little platinum era card. I think Supreme Victor. Yeah, I think was that the first plat. No, Stormfront was the first platinum set. I think, right? Okay. So I think Supreme Victors is where like Blaziken came out. I want to say Blaziken FB. Oh man, what other cards? Party. What are the fossils from Generation 4? Cranidos and Shieldon. It's not probably not one of those. Uh, I guess Cranidos is pretty ugly. And he's pretty hardy. Is there a Rampardos in Supreme Victors? I can't picture it. What other ugly Pokemon is from Gen 4? Oh man. What stage is the card Azul?
It's a basic.
So it's not Cranidos. Let me just have you read an attack name.
Surprise attack.
So it's definitely some puny basic. What's the bug from that era? Wormadam? Surprise attack is like a little bug attack or like a Zigzagoon type attack or something like that. And it's not necessarily something that has to be from a Diamond Pearl, like the games or whatever. Um Hardy. I mean Zigzagoon, low key, surprise attack. I do feel like Skitty would be having that attack, but no, I don't think Skitty would be looked at as like ugly. I don't think Zigzagoon would be looked at as ugly either. So I don't really know. It's probably some bug. It's probably some bug. What other bug is not Combi? Is it Wormadam? Maybe it's Worm or not Wormadam. What's the Burmy? Is it Burmy? That's the yeah. Honestly, I feel like Burmy is probably going to be my best guess here. I'm thinking it's some sort of bug. I can't think of anything else. I mean, it could be. Oh, I think there is a Weedle in that set. I think that that's one of the B drills that was used in Speed Drill was from that set. I want to say. Oh, is it Weedle, dude? That is Weedles do be having surprise attack. I feel like. All right. Uh let's lock it in. I'll go with Weedle. Lock it in, Weedle.
All right. Chip, this one was gonna be like impossible for you to guess. So it's not Weedle. I'm gonna go further though. It is a water Pokemon. And it's a water Pokemon that lives in water.
Hmm.
So it
Shellos,
is Feebas.
dude.
I don't even know how the flavor text makes sense.
What are they doing, man? They designed this Pokemon's flavor text with like this game in mind, this moment. Someone had a premonition and saw that I would lose a point on guess that flavor text. What, dude? Can survive on little water. It's always in the water, right? Can
I mean, maybe if
Feebas
they
be not in the water?
I don't think so. But like if there's very little of it, it would be fine, I guess.
I wonder if there's like fish that'll like burrow into the mud and stuff like that to sort of hibernate. So I wonder if this is like that reference for Feebas. I don't know. My Feebas lore isn't totally, there, I will say, so,
If I had said count and draw, would that have done anything more for you or no?
no.
Yeah. I was thinking about
I
doing
wouldn't
count
have
and
guessed
draw.
one of the bugs, probably.
Yeah. I was thinking you'd maybe end up on like a colorless Pokemon if I said count and draw, but
Is there a Weedle in Supreme Victors, at least?
not sure.
Nope, it's an Arceus.
Hmm. Never lucky. That rescue string though, that's a pretty good attack.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they'd be having surprise attack, though.
A poison sting. A lot of them have poison sting. What about that
Mm,
bug hunch?
that's a great one, dude. Burmy, there's no Burmy in Supreme Victors either.
It's like the Sherlock of Weedles there.
Oh,
Bug hunch.
man. A disappointing one. I will say the flavor text outside of the water part, I mean, this thing is pretty disgusting, so it's ugly.
But it do be in water. Like, can you find a Feebas card where it's not in water?
Yeah, that's true, honestly.
That's just such a weird. See, that's the thing is the researcher who was like they were so distracted by it, they just started writing random stuff. Oh, that's very little water.
No,
That's a
it's sticking
shallow.
its head up out of the water.
Yeah, but look at it. It looks like it's not a lot going.
Dude, this is extra disgusting, honestly.
Well, now you're just hating because you couldn't get the
I
flavor
don't think I've
text.
ever looked super closely at its lips.
Yeah, Feebas is
Dude, look at those lips, man.
also got like a hole in its top fin. I don't think I noticed that before either. That's not very like. I feel like
It's a
that'd be.
handle, dude.
Can
You if
you
you're
pick it up?
fishing for Phoebus, broop, there you go.
Grab him by the handle.
Draw up power.
If Phoebus
Dude,
is
look at this pitiful thing.
dude, you'll be a Phoebus hay batter, Phoebus hater, hay batter for the rest of your life.
Oh, man.
There's a lot of Phoebus though. They be printing them.
Dude, you be saying they be doing, apparently. That's like
They
your thing right now.
they
They
be
be
doing
doing
it.
this.
They be doing it. People have been saying.
Oh, man, what a bummer.
But you were never guessing it. This is like this is one of the ones where you'd be like, all right, that's fine.
Dude, Cynthia has a Feebas. Did you know that this was a card? Cynthia's melodic.
Damage to do your opponent's bench pro. That's pretty bad. And it less does Rose Raid amplify the bench damage? No, right?
No, I don't think so. All right, Azul. Mm, you're not getting any points next week for sure.
Probably not. But that's fine. I have a lead. I'm a more comfortable lead now too. 3-point lead. We're chilling. E-Pass locked it up for a week. Shout out to Bass. We go next.
All right, Azul. Time for us to take a look at the results from the San Juan special event. Now, we don't have the full Limitless page information like we normally would like to. It probably will be updated there at some point, but for now, we're working with what we have off of Stats. Only a few of the top 8 lists available. But you streamed the whole weekend, Azul. You watched did you watch all of the tournament or most of the tournament?
All of it, yeah. I should watch all of it.
So, first major in the new Ascended Heroes format. What were your kinda, like, takeaways from the live stream, from the meta, from what you saw on stream?
I mean, Dragon Ball definitely looked like the most popular deck, but I don't think that's a surprise. And then we did see some like up and comers, some newcomers. I guess Zork's really not like a newcomer to the metagame, but like it feels like Zork's here. Yeah, because like Zork previously has kind of been just like it's a deck that you really had to like kind of pin down as the best way to play it in a format or a metagame. And even then you have to play you have to play at like a higher accuracy with Zork than most other decks to succeed. So it kind of came down to Liam Halliburton and crew to like succeed with the deck consistently. Um, but yeah, I think Zorak is here in a way where it's actually like it is now one of the decks you have to like worry about. Like I think that's where we're at. It is like maybe not quite Guardy slash Pult level, but it's like a tier under those. And then Frostas Monkey Dory. It's been a deck for a while. Never really a metagame deck. I think it is here to be a metagame deck, though. We did see 2 of those in top 8. But besides that, not too much has really changed, to be honest. Like, that's kind of it. That's, like, the only real big adjustments that we saw. And there could be more moving forward. I think one deck that was absent, from the results, we did see it once on stream, was Gardevoir. Not a whole ton of Gardevoir going around. Um and Dragon Ball did become just like a better deck with Pokepad, so maybe that is enough for it to overcome its Gardevoir matchup. And if that happens, like Guardy might be in a decent, a little bit of a tough spot for these last couple tournaments in this format before rotation. We got like what Houston, we got Curitiba next weekend. After that, we got Houston, and then Orlando eventually. There's one in Mexico. Yeah, so there's still Osaville as well. I think, dude, there's like tournaments back to back to back to back to back weekends or something coming up. So there's a decent amount, or a couple of tournaments still to play in this format. But I think Gardevoir might be. I could see Gardevoir. It just depends on how the Dragon Ball matchup stands. I could see it being tough for Gardevoir though, moving forward. Those are the
I
main
think
takeaways from the meta.
I mean, the biggest thing I don't know about the
Mm,
meta, but the
yeah,
biggest thing for sure is the story of 2 Saraledge being in the
yeah, yeah.
finals. A Saraledge mirror match, like, in what earth could that have been predicted, right? A 2% meta share deck all of a sudden catapulted to 2 placements in the finals. Now, I think one, definitely not a surprise, right, to see, Ross out here playing the deck because
Yep.
he has been playing it a lot this format, been believing in it, so not a big surprise there, but to, be faced by another Sarah Ledge player in the finals, is pretty wild to see, to be honest. Miguel Alejandro. Previous Limitless entries show he's a Snorlax stall enjoyer, so quite the switch up. Snorlax stall into Sarah Ledge, but
Definitely a different pace for sure.
it is Miguel eventually taking it all down.
Yeah, and I get this question asked a lot, so just so for people who are curious, this was a special championships, which basically means it's exactly like a regional championships, just no cash prizing. And actually, something that I had been saying previously, and I thought was true, was that there was no entry fees for special championships, but that's only apparently the ones in Europe. They don't have entry fee. There was an entry fee for this tournament. I don't know what the overall pricing was for the tournament, but if you do win, you do get your world's invite. So I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of rooting for Ross in the
Yep.
finals just for him to keep his streak up, but you still get the same amount of championship points that you get for second place as you would a regional championship. So I expect to see Ross, with this placement, win or the second place. Him making it to the final, we'll probably see him at Worlds once again, and we'll definitely see Miguel there as well because that will give them the Worlds invite. But yeah, like you said, Sarah Ledge both making it to the finals. I mean, two Sarah Ledge being in the finals
Yeah.
is something.
I
And Sarah
think
Ledge is a deck that's always been like fine. Like I've never felt like Sarah Ledge is like a terrible deck. It's kind of like the tier of like
I feel like we've both liked it a
Baltic
decent amount through
Box.
the last
Yeah.
couple formats, right? Or couple months, I should say.
Yeah, I think we definitely me and you have both enjoyed it or think it's better than, like, the
Yeah,
average
yeah, yeah.
person in this community does. But it definitely feels like a Joltik Box tier deck, like, it's in that range where it's, like, not terrible. We saw Joltik Box get top cut at Seattle, right? Now we see 2 Saraledges here making it to the finals. Um, so it's not crazy shock to, like, see the deck be up there because, like I said, yeah, it's not like 2 United Wings made it to the finals or something like that, right? So, I don't wanna disrespect Saraledge too much here. But yeah, definitely surprised. The lists were a little bit different as well. Both playing, neither player playing the same chart cadet that the other one was. Ross had 4 of the 71 retreats. Miguel was playing 4 of the 72 retreats. And then a couple of different things in there. Like Miguel was playing 2 super odd, 2 night stretcher. I think Ross was on like 1 super odd, double night stretcher. But besides that, pretty similar lists. Both had heavy Carmine. Both played the Squawkabilly. No Drillburs, so I was a little bit sad by the no Drillburs, but um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Now, I don't think this result I don't think this tournament should be looked at as heavily as something like, if the Seattle Regional Championships was in this format, right? A 2,000 player tournament versus what do we have? 350 player tournament is a pretty big difference for sure. Also, you don't have as many top level players traveling to an event like this in comparison to something like that. So results should be taken with a little bit more of a grain of salt, but all results should be looked at kind of for what they are for that tournament for that weekend, and not should be like the truth moving forward. Like, well, this is it. Sarah Ledge is now a tier 1 meta deck because there was 2 of them in the finals. It doesn't really mean that for sure. I think Sarah Ledge probably still is not a tier 1 deck. Maybe tier 2 in this, format, but probably still like a tier 3 or lower deck, would be my guess. But, like, the difference between tier 1 and tier 3 is, like, not that drastic. So, I'm more curious to see how the community responds to this and if we see a big uptick in Sarah Ledge at, probably not Curitiba because that's super soon, but we could see something in Houston. We could see a decent amount of Sarah Ledge at Houston. So that'll be interesting to see. And another interesting thing would be just like how much success do we see out of it? Like I don't imagine there's not going to be that many top one tier 1 players picking up Sarah Ledge, right? Like this result is not changing. The Guardy players are the Guardy players, the Pult players are the Pult players. Very few top level players are going to be picking up Sarah Ledge. If Ross goes to the tournament, he'll probably still be playing Sarah Ledge, of course. Miguel probably the same, but we're not going to see that shift in the higher level of players. So the results will likely not be that good from Sarah Ledge at these upcoming tournaments, would be my guess still. Um, Unless we do see someone like a Ross making the result, or I mean, I'm not saying 0 top level players will pick it up, but very few, if any, will.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple other things to talk about with the success of this deck. And also one thing just on you talking about Ross getting his Worlds invite. Ross is the only player, for those who are uninformed, who has gotten a Worlds invitation to every single World Championships ever, even
Yeah.
the unofficial one. Well, it was official at the time, but the Wizards of the Coast held one back in 2002. Ross was at that one as well, which also counts. Well, depending on who you ask. I don't think TPCI recognizes it, but he's been at every World Championships, and now with this second place, he I think should lock it up because I just added up his limitless points. I don't think
Maths.
on the leaderboard currently, right now it's got him at like 147th, I think, with
Yeah.
500 and where is it? Not 147th. Where was he? Where'd you go? 143rd with 512 points. I do not think this includes his second
Second
place
place.
points
Yeah.
yet. So that'll put him well into 800s, which will be certainly safe for top 125. So that is cool to see that he's locked that up.
Oh, is that all it's gonna what was it last year? Because
It was like 700 last year.
we added 10 spots, right? It's 135 now,
Yeah,
right?
135. Yep, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. Yeah, that actually might just be safe then.
Yeah, he should lock it up for sure. Um, but yeah, I think a couple other big things. It did feel like Gardevoir was down a little bit, which is a matchup that's probably a little bit more questionable for Sarah Ledge, right?
Definitely.
Um, and also, I think I saw Ian Robb point this out, but this is a good point as well. One of the big things for Sarah Ledge is that it is a deck that really likes going first, and this is a format where everyone is choosing to go second. And most decks are, at least. And if they don't know what deck you're playing, maybe if they knew, they would choose first. But Sarah Ledge very much wants to go first and start attacking on turn two with a uh, either a Sarah Ledge or a Soul Rock, whichever way it works
Yeah,
out. But just taking it can be that aggressive turn two attack deck um, that others can't. So
yeah. We've been
that's a big benefit for it as well.
Yeah, we have kinda been that way for a little while, though, like, it has kinda been a go second format, but I guess maybe it is amplified a little bit more so because Dragapult's more popular and Terrazard becomes worse, and Terrazard was, like, one of the few other decks that did want to go first. So specifically for this format and maybe even just, like, the metagame makeup at I don't know how many people were wanting to roll up with Charizard, with how much better Polk got with the Pokepad. So I guess there is some like truth to that for this format over last format. Even though last format was mostly a go second format, this format is even more so a go second format. So it takes advantage of that, which yeah, it's nice. It's a nice thing to be able to take advantage of, and especially because I mean another thing to go with that, like people being unexperienced in the format or against the deck in general. I mean, I've had this experience so much with decks in the past where like I'll be playing a deck that wants to go second, and then I'll win game 1 and my opponent will still choose first or vice versa, whatever it is. So, like,
Yeah.
people make that error all the time against these decks where they don't understand the matchup well enough to know that they should be flipping what they usually choose with their deck because 'cause they're just kinda it's kinda like tunnel visioning or whatever you
They
wanna
just
call
know
it.
what their deck likes to do, and so they
Yeah,
do what their deck likes to do without
yeah.
thinking about the matchup any further.
So an extra strength for sure, yeah.
So congrats to Miguel on the win, and congrats to Ross on the second place finish. I'm sure he wouldn't have minded getting the dub, but locking up his world's invite almost certainly has got to feel good because I'm sure that's his kind of goal here. But you'll notice here as we look through these standings in the top 13, which was a 13 player cut, there is just one player from Puerto Rico, Julio
Yeah.
Santos de Leon, who's been a very successful player as well. He plays in plenty of our tournaments, has had some solid results. But there was that discussion that comes up every time these special events happen. I don't even know how much you want to talk about this of like talking about these players traveling out of region to go play in these tournaments. I think one of my biggest things as well for this, and I saw one tweet as well that I really agreed with is like, I mean, one, Puerto Rico is literally a US territory, right? So it's
Yeah,
in
it's part
the
of the US.
US. And if you live in the Southeast US, if you live in Florida, Georgia, North or South Carolina, uh, Louisiana, Alabama, like any of these like kind of southeastern region states, this is cheaper probably for you to go to than like LA regionals or Seattle regionals, right? Like this is literally way closer than flying to Seattle. So
Oh, yeah, yeah, for, like
why wouldn't you if you live in Florida and you're chasing your world's invite and you're on that cusp of like being in top 135, why would you not go to this tournament, right?
yeah, also, you get to go visit, like, a new place if that's something that interests you. I saw someone mention this, which, like, was one of the takes that I, like, heavily disagree with, is, like, someone said, like, "No one's going to Puerto Rico for the love of the game." I was like, I don't know, I just don't think that's true. Like, you mentioned we talked about it last week when we talked about Hedrick winning the Bogota special event. He had already won 2 majors that year. Like, Hedrick definitely went to Bogota for the love of the game. Like, he was not going to Bogota to try and secure his world's invite that year, right? So, like,
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a way a lot like, yeah, like you said, people just like playing Pokemon. They like playing in major tournaments. And this is gonna be the closer tournament to travel to for a lot of people in the South, right? So, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are just going because they just wanna play Pokemon. Now, some people are, like, chasing the World's Invite, and they probably did go to this event to skip a different regional championship. That's probably also true, but there's, like, also nothing wrong with that at the end of the day. The system is, like, flawed. You can argue the system is flawed in that way where people get honestly, when I went onto Twitter the day after the tournament, I saw a lot of people making tweets, but I couldn't find any of the initial tweets that spurred on the conversation. So did people delete all their tweets or like what happened to them? I didn't find any of the initial negative tweets where people were like the tweets that spurred people's follow-up tweets. I couldn't find a single one of them. Which I'm sure were stuff like special events should be region locked or this or that. I mean, if you lock it to the region, it's still just it's just North America still or US and Canada. I think I think most of the people who have uh, brought these discussions up about special events, uh, their issue with it has evolved to an actual reasonable take from the region locking BS and all that stuff to tournaments should give out championship points based on attendance, which I don't necessarily disagree with personally. I don't think it's that big of a deal if they do or don't. I don't really have like a that strong opinion one way or another. But I think if we're talking about like optimization of a competition, and I think I saw someone use the term competitive integrity. I don't know if I'd go that far, but yeah, maybe a tournament with maybe a regional or special championships with 2,000 players should give more championship points than one like this with 350 players. If
Yeah.
it doesn't though, I personally don't really care. Like I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like the people who complain about this aren't good enough at the game that their invite is being robbed from them because someone else went to Puerto Rico. Like it's not the difference maker for your world's invite. You're not like if that's the thing you're focused on, it doesn't matter. Not to say the system couldn't be better or be improved, but yeah, player X and Y going to Puerto Rico, they're not taking the world's invite away from you. You're not good enough for that to be the difference maker. So doesn't mean the system can't be improved, but like it depends on how what your complaint is and what your problem is. I think there's a good and correct take to have about the situation, but it's not that big of a deal. It doesn't mean we shouldn't push for change, but some of the ways that some people make it out, it seems like it's like a terrible thing, and it's like jeopardizing the competitive integrity of like the world's invite or something like that, which is definitely not even close to like pushing that line for sure. Right.
Yeah, I definitely think that, I think it does make sense that you could look at it and be like, okay, this 300 person tournament should not give the same amount of points as this 3,000 person tournament. But at the end of the day, everyone's playing in the same set of rules, right? a lot of people wanted to try to take advantage of this, they would go. And a lot of the people who are going are trying to take advantage of the system that's in place, right? They're
Yeah.
trying to, no, I shouldn't say take advantage, but they're trying to capitalize, right,
Yeah, on the situation.
on the situation, right? But everyone's in the same situation. Um,
I think a lot of people
y-
are doing it for the love of the game, though. Like, even if they aren't
yes,
playing
for
for their
sure.
Worlds Invite, like, I think it's underestimated how much people enjoy playing Pokemon. Because, and I think a great example of that is just the amount of people who complained about the Worlds Invite switch, from,
Yeah,
an
championship
amount of championship
points.
points you needed to, like, top X. There was a ton of people who complained about it initially, and now no one mentions it at all, and everyone still seems to love playing the game and enjoying the game, and I think the mentality around the game has gotten so much better. Something that I brought up on my stream over the weekend was just,
Yep.
like, the community is so much healthier, and it's so good that it happened before the game got that much bigger, that the change happened, and all that toxic mindset of, like, everyone needs to get their worlds invited, that's the only thing you can do and play for, is, like, completely gone from the game 2 years
Yep.
later. Like, nobody talks about it, nobody thinks about it. The community is just, healthier mentally, because of it, so, um,
It does make you
yeah.
wonder, like, how many people actually felt like that versus how many people were just being loud on Twitter, you know?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It definitely makes me, but yeah, I think people just love playing the Pokemon TCG, and it is like the loud minority who just like have a problem. It's not the same people who have a problem with everything, but it's a loud minority for each situation where there's a problem, air quotation marks, whatever. Where it's not really that big of a problem, where it is just kind of a loud minority type situation, and it's yeah, I don't know. It's like one thing if they could optimize it, sure. I don't even know if that's necessary. Like, I don't know. The game is growing so much bigger in so many different ways. The special events down in the Latin American regions, they're all getting like everything's selling out. Everything's so much bigger numbers. I mean, the special event here in Puerto Rico, I don't know what the numbers were last year. I don't think it's up by that much, but it's sold out for sure. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if they can get more space next year, it'll sell out again. Like, these tournaments want to be bigger. The players will show up if they're bigger. I think, like, the one thing we should be, like, pushing for is that TOs get more space. That's the one thing that we should be caring about more than anything else, and it'll make it irrelevant how big tournament X is over tournament Y, but listen, if TBCI wants to make the change, I'd be for it, but it's, like, not something I, like, overly care that much about to, like it's, like, something I don't have that strong of an opinion on. If they wanna make it so it scales with attendance, sure, go for it.
So looking at the rest of Top Cut here, you did mention a little bit of an absence from Gardevoir, and as we scroll down, there's really just like not much Gardevoir doing well or placing super high at this
Yeah.
tournament. Maybe not played as highly as some other tournaments in the past, but
I
yeah, it
would be
looks like
curious to know
wow,
its,
there's only one Gardevoir on stream the entire weekend as
yeah.
well.
I would be curious to know its play percentage for sure. Um, 'Cause I can't think of too much that would dissuade the Gardevoir player, like, unless the Pult matchup is just bad now. I mean, it's Pult did get better, that's for sure. Pult definitely got better. Um, did it get better enough that it's favored against Guardy? I assume the Guardy builds could adjust to, like, compensate for that, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think we'll get a lot more information with Curitiba and Houston. Obviously, there's not that many tournaments in this format anyway, so that information is going to be utilized. Like, there's not that much time to utilize it, but I guess it'll be all building up towards Orlando, and I think we'll have a little bit better of a indication of that because there's a lot of top level players who play Gardevoir in the Latin American region, um, and in the in the states as well. And like I said, there was not. I don't think there was that many top level players traveling to this event from the states down to Puerto Rico. So I think we'll get a better indication of where the format is truly at over the next couple of weeks with Curitiba and Houston.
So here are the three Pult lists. I think that's just three, right? Oh, there's sorry, one more that we don't have the list for Zach Elliott just yet. Um, but here's three of the four top cut Pult lists in the new format. I think the big takeaway here is, of course, that all of them are playing three Pokepad at least. John here it does have four Pokepad. I mean, that's the big card from the set,
Yeah,
right? Is Pokepad. Other than that, the deck looks pretty similar. John only played 2 Dragapult here. We already saw some people doing that though,
yeah,
in the previous formats. No Turo in any of these lists, worth noting. But other than that, I mean, Julio here played 1 rare candy, but that's not that crazy to see either. All still
I
played 2
think
jamming tower, all still 3 played 3 counter catcher.
so Zach's list, I believe, because we saw it a couple times on stream. 2 Pokepad, Shaman, Dawn Hilda,
Oh, he also
and
played in
then
Seattle. I wonder if oh, no, he would have changed, right? Because there's Pokepad, whatever, but
yeah, and Turo did play the Turo, I think,
okay.
though. Honestly, the no Turo, maybe it makes sense because it feels like, retreat locking's not that good right now. I think they'll have to adjust though. Like Frost Ice Monkey Dory, they got that Sudowoodo. Um, Mega Absol is like questionable as far as the deck goes right now. I feel like it did win in seniors. Mega Absol, oh no, it got second. Omar won with Dragapult. Um, it got second. But yeah, Mega Absol is like super questionable right now because the Zoroark matchup got so much worse, and Zoroark seems like it might be just like a good deck. So I don't know if like retreat locking from Mega Absol specifically is going to stick around, but Frost House Monkey Dory, stuff like that still exists. So I think the Turo is probably gonna have to make its way back. And I think they got away with it. The Pulp players got away without the Turo this weekend, but I don't think that can be that'll probably won't be able to be the norm moving forward. And that yeah, the two same thing with the two Dragapult. I think the mirror match is gonna be too prevalent. Drawing into your Dragapult naturally is just so important in the mirror match.
Yeah. Yeah, John, oh, no, sorry, Julio had the Brock Scouting and the Hilda here.
Yeah.
John with just the
And
Hilda, yeah. John and Sahil here with actually the same supporter lineup, and I guess Julio's just adding the Brocks. Other than that, I mean, nothing super I mean, Julio has I mean, I guess they all
Phil
have
has
monk
Shaman.
yeah, has yeah, okay, I see the Shaman, yeah.
I thought we'd see more people go. I like when I was trying out the deck, I had liked three Duskulls because it's so much easier to find your Dusclops. Because of Pokepad. I thought we'd maybe see more people switch to a heavier dusk line. We could still see that in the future for sure.
Mhm.
That's what I was trying out. It
Dude,
just feels so much better.
I think we're gearing up for, like, Houston. I mean, depending on what happens in Curitiba this weekend, I guess, but I don't know, I guess what happens in Curitiba won't affect Houston that much because it's just a week away.
Yeah.
Um, dude, I mean, I think we might see, like, a 20% day 1 Dragapult.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. The deck is just so much better. Then it becomes the question is like you want to play the more powerful build with more you want to play as many Pokepads as possible, but it's like now you got to compensate for mirror. So like you need stuff like you need to play the three boss, you need to play the three Dragapults, or you need to play like a higher Hilda count. It's all about dealing with that Badoo and the item lock.
So we've got a couple of Zoroark lists we can look at. Vince Owen here getting top 8 with Zoroark. I mean, and this is, I think, the other big deck to kind of look at here as this is the deck that I think everyone was having their eyes on is like getting the biggest buffs. Um, right with the release of In's Zekrom. And then
Yeah.
Sebastian Lashmet didn't make top cut, but was the first player out at, excuse me, 14th place. And it's a similar list here
That a two
with the
one Toad
Toad
Scroll?
Scroll. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Couldn't tell. Did they
I think
both
it
have
is a
Badoo as
2-1
well?
Toad Scroll. Yeah.
They both have the Badoo, yeah. Yeah, pretty similar. I mean, is that almost like the only no, there's some other differences. There's stadium difference there, Ents Castle,
Yeah. Only
diff
2 Cyrano from Vince here.
yeah, 3 Cyrano. Had
And then
the
The Reshiram Zekrom split as well.
Wise
There's
Man.
2 Zekrom, no
Yeah.
Reshiram from Vince, and then Sebastian has a Reshiram Zekrom split, which
I kinda
is
like that with the 2 Monkey Dory, I like just the double Zekrom. Because, like, the main matchup you want the Reshiram for, I think, is Dragapult, but if you have 2 Monkey Dory, that kinda covers that for you, I feel like.
mm,
Kinda like the 2 Zekrom for sure. Because that's, like, really the only like, matchup where you need reach for that big one-hit KO is, like, the Dragapult matchup. Every other matchup is, like, you need, like, minimal modifiers to get there.
no TM Evo from Sebastian. There is one in Vince's list as well.
Is there? Oh, it is
Yeah.
hiding there, yeah, in the back, I didn't see that. At first, I thought there was 0 Cyrano in this list. I was like, "How are we getting our Zoroarks?" I didn't see the Cyranos by the Ionos, I didn't know what they were at first. I was like, "We cannot find Zoroark with this deck," but no, they are there. And, yeah, I would say, like, not minimally, but not as teched out for the Golden Go matchup as we had seen Zoroark builds previously. The 2/2 Darmanitan plus 2 reversals, or the 2/2 Toad Scroll plus heavy TM Evo super odd combos. 2/1 Toad Scroll in this build, and then a 1/1 for Vince. But I guess when you can one hit KO the Golden Goes and bench a Toad School in the same turn, like that's a lot of pressure. Because previously you could bench a Toad School, but you couldn't KO a Golden Go. But now that you can do that, that, like, puts so much pressure on the Golden Go player to come up with a good response that can also deal with the Toad Scroll on the next turn, so I guess that does make sense that you don't need as thick of a line of the Toad Scroll. You could be the aggressor.
And then we do have one list from a Frostlass Monkey Dory from Gabrielle, who got top 8. Oh, let's, like, rotate the image before we post it. Come on, guys. Can I rotate it here? I don't think so, right? But this'll work.
That's better. Is there
So
a Mega
4
Frost less in
Pokepad
here?
obviously is the big thing, and there is no Mega Frostlass. 3/3 Frostlass line has the Tinglu and the Sudowoodo, also playing the
Oh,
Blood
the
Moon
Ursaluna.
Ursaluna.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering why there was an Ultra Ball in there, but that makes sense then.
Yeah, gotta find the Ursaluna, I guess, for a potential, like, big hit closer. I do think the Mega Frostlass could fill that spot, to be honest, but, dude, opening this Ursaluna, like, do we just lose
It's
the game if we
I
start that
mean, you got
guy?
Air Balloon, you can it's pretty tragic, but you have a lot of other starters. It's, like, pretty low odds. I mean,
Yeah.
Tinglu's pretty bad as well, depending on the matchup, but Tinglu can get there. The Tinglu's pretty good. Especially up against Golden Go. Now that they're not running Picnic Basket, you just Tinglu them and then they cry. Speed up the board wipe play so much faster.
Yeah. Look at this setup here from the, the figures as well. The
Yeah.
mascots got the gang, the
Check
squad.
the
So
president.
innocent, and little do
Yeah.
you know, it's like the most annoying deck to play against in the whole format.
Yeah, definitely. For
But
sure.
yeah, I mean, I think this is a deck we'll see more from. Wouldn't be surprised to see a couple in top 8 at Curitiba or Houston.
Yeah, I'm not that confident in the Pulp matchup, but if it is good enough, then the deck feels like it's probably really good right now. And there's still more like I don't think I mean that list didn't have like the side deck or anything, which is like one of the
Mhm.
things to be scared of against Dragapult is the Dusclops board wiping you, taking too many prize cards too quickly for you to keep up. But of course side can make its way into the deck and get involved, stuff like that. You go more heavy into the retreat lock as well, which is good against Dragapult.
And I think the last, oh no, sorry, we do have a Charizard list here to look at in Top Cut. Is a Terrazard build. This is another deck that, in theory, could get a boost from Pokepad, but in practice,
It's just like I don't even know where you play them, where you fit them.
yeah, Dawn just does it all, right? So,
Yeah, no reason to play the Pokepads. There might be an argument for like one to make it easier to like chain knock towels. You can owl for a pad, but you do
I
play the
wonder
one
if
of
you could
Ultra Ball, which can
change
still do that.
engines with this deck to like Pokepads and then something else to get your stage twos off the
Yeah,
knock towel, right? So then you could free up for a different supporter, but
yeah,
I guess
Jack.
Dawn just does too much, right?
Yeah, it's probably just too efficient of a card to like you may like most of the time you're just gonna be like, well, I just wish I had a Dawn here. And it is like you're out like I don't know, I think this deck it feels like this deck probably suffers just because of how much better and more popular Dragapult's gonna be. It's always been a tough matchup. But yeah, Dawn is like you're out to even have a chance in that matchup as well, right?
And then one mega box in cut, Hunter Smith with the Toad Scroll
Yeah.
package. One Evil Tall, it looks like.
And I really liked that was one thing
One
that was
energy
really
switch.
really nice about Seattle. We got to see so much Absol box. I'm a big fan of the deck, but my confidence in the deck is like pretty low with the Zoroark stuff happening. I hope it survives. I hope it's still a good deck. I mean, Hunter got the cut here, the asymmetrical cut here. So I'm hoping it sticks around for the rest of the format, the rotation.
All right. Well, let's recap our predictions from the event. We can't do them all, namely this first one where we said how many order pad would there be in top 8?
Pokepad.
Oh my gosh. It's
Oh,
because I
you put
wrote
it
order
here.
pad on the document. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
Pokepad. There
no.
we go. Jeez. That's why. Dude, I wrote it twice. I wrote order pad twice.
No.
Holy
What are you
cow.
doing?
Um, yeah, how many Pokepad in top 8? I think we're probably both over on our prediction here, though. You said 17, I said 16. Probably gonna
Yeah.
be less than that when it's all
It's
said and done, due to the 2 Sarah Legend finals kinda blocking some of that
yeah.
out.
I mean, it's just, you know, a fake tournament. There's no way there's 2 Sailors in the finals. There should be Dragapults for sure, so Just got unlucky on this one. Just got unlucky.
Oh, actually, there could be 16 for sure. If, Zach played 4 Pokepad
Oh,
and both Frostlass Monkey
oh,
Dory played 4
yeah, the monk.
Pokepad, that's 16 right there.
Zach played 2. I'm almost positive, but there's one in Vincent's deck, I think.
Oh, was there one in Vince's stack? Nope, that's a Pal
Oh,
Pad.
no, it was in the other deck. Sebastian
Mm,
played.
okay. Alright, highest placing non-Pokepad Ascended Heroes card, you said in Zekrom boring. I said Mega Frostlass,
Cool.
but wrong, unfortunately, as it was indeed. Wait, what set is the Charcadet from? Is it from
Phantasmal
Phantasmal?
Times.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
it
think
was
any other
in
deck had anything weird.
Zekrom. Unless this Frostlass Monkey Dory that we don't have the list from played Mega Frostlass. That would be the only thing.
Oh, I think they
Did you
did.
see him
I
on
think they did,
stream?
yeah. Yeah, yeah, I'm almost positive Joseph did have the Mega
So he had
Frostlass,
the
yeah.
Mega?
Mhm.
Well, let's go. I won. Get bodied.
Let's go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Joseph did have the Mega Frostlass, yeah.
Shout
It
outs
was there.
Joseph. Let's get it. Love to see it.
Hard carry, what the heck?
And then finally, pick a deck to win. Well, we both got this one wrong. You said Polt. I said
You should've went with
Ins
your gut.
Zork.
If you had played the
Honestly,
tournament, what
yeah,
would you have played?
I would have probably played Ledge.
Yeah, man.
That has been the only deck I've played at, like, locals and stuff the last few months when I rarely get a chance to go out. I think I've played 2 tournaments the last 3 months, and I played Ledge both times, so
You were ready. You should've gone to Puerto Rico. It was a tournament for you, Chip.
should have, man, should have. And we do have the Curitiba Regional Championships this weekend down in Brazil. I mean, I guess first off, like, for people competing, is there anything that they should look at San Juan's results and take away?
I know Ledge won, but I think Process Monkey Dory kinda showing up, couple and cut, like, I think that's the scarier deck,
Yeah,
to make sure you're kinda prepared for. Ledge, like, it's not like it's still the same deck. Like, it's not, like, more powerful or something like that. It's
literally
literally
no
plays
new
no new cards.
cards.
Yeah. Obviously, there's a couple different things you can play with it. We saw 2 different lists. Ross and Miguel were playing about as far as different Ledge builds go, that's about as different as they can be, I guess. So yeah, I would say just like be prepared for Frostless Monkey Dory. I think, unless you don't think it can stand up to Dragapult, and you think like its performance here isn't indicative of how good its Dragapult matchup is, and if you think it has a bad Dragapult matchup, then I would say you probably don't have to respect the deck. So that would be like where most of my focus is just like that deck. Do you think that deck is good in the current format? And if it is good, that's the deck. One of the decks you should worry about, or maybe you're playing. But besides that, I think we saw some expected, right? Dragapult showed up, seemed like the most popular deck, the most dominant deck overall. The Sarah Ledge was definitely a surprise, but I don't think anyone is walking away from this. And I think rightfully so. They shouldn't be thinking, oh my gosh, Sarah Ledge, new tier one deck, right? Probably not the case. Maybe a little bit more powerful in this format though. Maybe it is maybe it is here to stay
Put
around.
some
Maybe it will be a meta
respect on
deck.
his name, bro.
um but it's one of those things as well where it wasn't just like I was gonna say, like, it wasn't like Sarah Ledger's all of a sudden, like, being played at a 7% rate, and we saw, like, a bunch of it on stream. Like, it was probably still a 2% meta deck, right? Or less. And Miguel and Ross just made their way to the finals. Like, it's not a terrible deck, solid players. Um,
The only 2 players that we know of in day 2 were
yeah.
playing Ledge were Ross and Miguel.
But, like, looking at it and thinking about it, I don't think that's indicative of, like, "Oh my gosh, they figured it out before anyone else did." And Terra Ledge is a broken tier 1 deck. I don't think it is. I think it's just, like, a solid deck. Um Played by some solid players and, got some solid finishes. Might be better than it has been in previous formats, though, for sure. Might be a better play than that, but big thing to look out for is Frostlass Monkey Dory and Dragapult.
Alright, well, let's do some predictions for the Curitiba Regional Championships. First up, should we do Frostlass Monkey Dory or Zorak? What do you think?
Well, now that we just talked about it, I kinda wanna do Frostlass Monkey Dory, to be
Let's
honest
do
with you.
how many Frostlass Monkey Dory will be in cut.
We're doing that assuming there's gonna be 1. I think that's not a bad guess. I am gonna go with 1.
Like, give me the 2.
Alright.
Lock it in. I mean, 2 made cut here, could
That's true.
happen. Just like 2 Serlage couldn't make finals again, right?
They could.
Speaking of it, what do you think the highest placing Serlage will be this weekend in Curitiba after its incredible finals run in Puerto Rico?
I don't think it's gonna have a great finish. We kinda talked about that earlier, and I think it'll be a top 32. There's a lot of strong Guardy players in the Latin American region who will probably be going to this tournament. And unless Guardy really has just kind of fallen off and it's just not that good of a deck, and the Guardy players have all realized that unanimously and are just not going to play Guardy, that being added in with the fact that no top players are rolling up with no tier one players. It's not to the like it's not against Sarah Ledge. Sarah Ledge is better than its play rate probably, but no tier one players are rolling up with Sarah Ledge, so it's going to be hard for it to succeed. So top 32.
Yeah, I'm gonna say top 64 for all those same reasons. I just don't think that it's like not really a deck. Like I don't know what Miguel has been playing, but we know Ross has been playing Ledge, right? Like I
Yeah,
don't think no one's picking up Ledge going into this format for probably any reason. I'd be willing to bet that this is the deck Miguel has been playing for a couple months as well. We don't know for sure, right? But that'd be what I'd be willing to bet.
yeah, definitely. Especially with, like, the one of the things that I feel like leans into that is the Charcadet choice. Like, Miguel thinks, like, that is the Charcadet that most people don't play. Miguel thinks that is the Charcadet, so I don't think you just roll up with 4 of those Charcadets, and had the fully blinged out version too. It is the nicest looking
Ooh,
Charcadet, so that might have been the reason. We might have, like, a Jackson Ford situation.
breaking news, Azul.
Oh, what's up?
I found what Miguel played to the Merida Regional Championships in January. Did not make day 2. Finished 3, 4, and 1 with Golden Go.
Hmm. We'll go ahead and cut it, so become the enemy of Golden Go, Sarah Ledge.
There you
That's
go.
Miguel's villain arc right there.
And then finally, pick a player to make top cut.
I actually haven't thought about this one at all. There's always the usual suspects.
Yep.
Can't go wrong with any of the usual suspects.
I'm gonna go with Giovanni
Oh, dude, I
Sasso.
was about to say Giovanni.
He's been
Uh,
killing it this year, bro. He got a regional win here in the US.
yeah, Pertusi let me down. I predicted Pertusi for
Bertuzzi just
EUIC.
won
He let me
LAIC.
he let me down at EUIC. I guess he still got top 64 though, so he was like still there. He did just win, but he let me down when I
Sometimes
predicted
losing
him.
a win in leads to being top 64 these days, so
Sure, I don't think he was on the winning end, but I'm gonna run it back with another Pertusi prediction. He's been having a pretty good season. Got the
yep.
dub at LAIC. Still top 64 for JUIC, so he didn't do terrible or anything like that. So it's a pretty safe prediction.
Alright. You're going with Pedro, I'm going with Giovanni. I think both of us would not be surprised to see either of them making top cut, though.
Definitely.
Alright, Azul, well, that's it for our main episode here. You got anything else you wanna say before we get over to the bonus episode? Solid little 2-hour episode here for the people listening at home.
Yeah, yeah. No, send us out.
Alright, well, thanks a bunch to everyone, as always, for listening and for your support. Very much appreciated. And if you do enjoy, be sure to leave us a like, a review, rating, comment, subscribe. Those things help us out a bunch. Let us know you're enjoying the content. If you want to show a little extra support as well, you could do so by becoming a YouTube channel member or Spotify subscriber. Just click the little join button down below. It is something you pay for, but it shows a little extra support, and you do get extra content every single week from us, which we're going to get to right now. We literally pick it up as we end the episode. We do like the bonus episode right like immediately after. Don't even cut the recording. And if you want to stay up to date with me and Azul, the best place to do it is over on Twitter. You can follow myself at ChipperG Azul at AzulGG, and you can follow the podcast at uncommon_energy.
Yeah, appreciate the support as always. We'll catch you all next Wednesday, 7 a.m. Eastern.